And welcome live down here at Fistral Beach, the last event of the year for the UK Surf Tour. We're on the Smart Park in Night Surf. Sam Lamroy, professional
Hello.
surfer, coach, alongside me, ex-champion. And we've been watching the surf pretty much all day. We've been down here quite early. It's not the best conditions. And
The waves are 6 to 8 feet, strong on
yeah,
shore. It's mid tide.
yes.
It's big and horrible.
The only positive thing is the tide is coming in. So at low tide it looked a little bit smaller, but now the tide's kind of coming in. It's kind of stretched out back. There is no outback kind of thing.
So normally, I mean, we're looking at 5 o'clock right now, and normally you would say, hey, it's high tide at 7 o'clock, which isn't any good because it's
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
But what's this called again?
It is the Smart Park in Night Surf.
Night surf, meaning
We're going to run into the night. Last night we did a practice run with the lights. Last night it was a lot smaller than this, so I think it's going to be uncharted territory for our surfers and also our event organizer Dave Reed. With the size of the surf, it's a big tide though, 7.25 meters, which is up in the springs, so that's another positive thing.
so here at Fistral, so we're at Fistral in Newquay, and we are sitting just behind us. If you can almost peek out the back, we can see the waves, we can see the sun starting to set, and the tide's going to come right up underneath us.
Yeah,
And I love the atmosphere of the night surf. You know,
yeah.
you get people in the bars, there's lights, there's surfing. It's kind of like a carnival.
And fireworks to end the event tomorrow night as well, which I know most of the contests are on a Saturday and a Sunday, but because it goes on to quite late, obviously a lot of our surfers have to travel from all over the UK. We've got guys down from Scotland, from Wales, and I think even the Canaries. I'm not too sure. I haven't really looked too closely at where they come from, but
And so there's not enough time to run the entire event at night. So we've already started earlier. We've had the under 18 boys, the under 16 boys, and then the under 18 boys again. So we've had round one of those categories in the semi-finals of the under 18 boys that we're just about to get into now. Then we're going to have the Open, the first round of the Open.
yep.
And there's a lot to play for
I think
here.
there's 8 heats of the Open, is it?
There
Yep.
was eight heats,
Heats,
in round one of the Open.
20 minutes, and the schedule has changed from what was published throughout the week. We were having the under 12s, under 14s, but obviously conditions today way too big to send these guys out there. I mean, I'm looking forward to see if the open surfers can get out back. Some of our younger surfers did earlier on, but this tide's come in, and it seems to be duck dive after duck dive after duck
It's
dive.
huge. We'll cut to the action in just a second. And what you'll see, there's like a. How many did you count? You count like eight waves.
Eight waves.
So eight
Yeah.
waves
Yeah.
to duck dive, and that's if you're going at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But you know that's going to be a chore.
Well,
Isn't
the
it?
annoying thing is, I mean, you know what it's like being in contests. You kind of build up a rhythm with your paddles when there's a normal swell, but because the swell period is so close, the waves are so close together, you can't get a rhythm. So you kind of like paddle, paddle, duck dive, paddle, duck dive, paddle, 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 duck dive. Whereas normally you might get 4 paddles and then a duck dive, 4 paddles,
But
duck dive.
also, it's not organised. It's
No,
not like you've got a line of white water,
yeah.
then a break, then a line. It might double up and come at you from the side, and then you've got to change again, and it's full on.
Well,
Should we
this
have a
is-
quick look at the waves?
well,
Can we maybe cut to the waves and have a look? You'll see what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Ah,
There we go.
look at
There we
that.
go.
Gorgeous. Now, so in the water we've got Noah Caps is already locked in at 6.83. So
And
this
this is the third time Noah's surfed today.
he's a machine.
He's a young machine. So he knows the conditions, and you might be wondering where this wind's coming from. This is like a northeasterly, which is probably the worst wind we can kind of get here on the north coast of Fistral because it blows from right to left, and the guys do drift a lot in their heats. So we've seen a couple of runarounds as well.
Which, yeah, so with waves of this size, all the water that comes into the beach has to go back out to sea somehow. So then there's gullies and troughs. But that looks savage. I mean, you can see it's like to use a common phrase, it's like a washing machine out there.
And you can count the number of white water waves to
Okay, here we
get
go.
through.
From the inside, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I get 10.
10.
And that's not on a set. So you can imagine. And they're only 20-minute heats. So this is the under 18 boys
Yeah.
semi-final.
But they
heat one.
are 10-minute paddle outs. Dave has given them a 10-minute paddle out, which if we were competing, I would use every second of that 10 minutes just to
know-
make sure.
I don't know. Were you at the contest? I think it might be in the English Nationals at Watergate when it was similar to this.
Now I'd retired by then, happily.
I remember a contest a couple of years ago where it was so big that I had a 10-minute paddle out. I
Yeah.
paddled out. I thought I'd got then. And for those of you new to surfing, when you look back to the beach, there's a disc. and the disc is kind of perpendicular to you at the start of the heat, so you can't see anything, and then it turns and it goes to green. So one side of this signage disc is green, and then with 5 minutes to go, you flip the disc through 180 degrees, and it's red,
Yeah.
so you know you've got 5 minutes.
So green is go
Green is go, red is 5 minutes, and then the disc essentially disappears again.
for no surf. Yeah.
So, but imagine you're out at sea, and you know, right now these surfers are what would you say? It's almost like half a mile away when they're out the back
Yeah.
from where the discs and where the judges are sitting. So we'll talk about heat tactics and
Yeah.
and what kind of turns you would go towards in these kinds of conditions. But I remember in a heat being way out the back, like it feels like you're in the shipping lane out at sea. And I looked back and I saw the disc beyond green, and I thought, okay, here we go, the heat started. And I remember I surfed the entire heat, and I came in, and it turns out I'd been paddling for 30 minutes, not 10, and I'd surfed the wrong heat.
Right, yeah.
So I was
Just
immediately
paddled through
out.
your
Just-
heat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd been paddling. So
Yeah.
it is really disorientating
Well,
and difficult.
Again, one of the positives is the tide is coming in. It's a very big high tide, so these guys are only going to get closer. We do have Nick Williams next door doing the beach commentary. They're not going to hear that.
No.
There is a hooter.
Why wouldn't they hear that? So if you're not familiar with surfing,
Yeah, okay.
so what does the beach commentary do, and how does it help a surfer, and why wouldn't they hear it when there's wind?
Well, I mean, the beach commentary is supposed to help the surfers understand where they are in the heat. If they don't wear a watch, how long's left. If they're in third or fourth, their requirement to move into a position where they can progress to the next round. But unfortunately, because of this onshore wind and sound is carried by waves and is affected by. I don't mean waves as in water waves. I mean in sound waves. It's affected by wind, and there's people back in Newquay now knowing that Finn Gamblin needs a 4.17. So someone at the walkabout who's having a beer knows.
Which is a mile away.
Yeah, but in the
Inland.
opposite, yeah, the opposite direction, and Finn probably doesn't know. Well, he obviously knows the heat started because he's got a couple of waves, but he won't know anything that's going on. He won't know what scores he's got. Won't know what position he's in. He probably won't know what time is left.
And just for the viewers, you've got to understand that at the moment the algorithm on our screen is set so that this gives you the requirement for first place. So right now, Noah Caps is in the lead. It's your best two scores that count. So that's why you see Noah Caps in the red has got a 6.83, and that's the only wave he's had so far. And so his total wave score is 6.83. Finn Gamblin, for example, has got a 2.67 and a 0.2, so his total heat score is 2.87. So in actual fact, to get up, and the top two surfers qualify.
Go on through.
So here we go. So Noah, this is a backup score. So he just thinks, do you know what? I've had a good wave. I'll do a little slash, and we'll see where the judging criteria is at. So he's done two decent turns. Now, if the waves were this size, and that was it. If these were the actual waves, you'd go, hey, that's like a 5 or a 6. But there's waves that are 4 times that size out the back, where you could do literally 10 turns on a wave that would keep on giving.
Well, we were talking to Mike Durkin, the head judge, just before we came live, and we were talking about what the judges are looking for, and he said the first thing they should do is get held back, which is kind of easier
Which
said.
sounds obvious.
Yeah,
but
which is but kind of easier said than done on conditions like this. And he also said we all got to the nitty gritty of you surf your own heat. Don't worry about anybody else. And Noah doesn't know he's got a 6.83 because
he knows he's had a good wave.
Yeah, he
though.
knows he's had a decent wave, but he doesn't know what everyone else has done in relation to that. So he does, like you said, he's just got a backup wave. So he's got 2 scores, and again, this is his 3rd heat. So he would have learnt from his first 2 heats just exactly what he needs to do to get through and progress. Because it's when you can hear everything, it's so easy. You know where you are in the heat. You know your requirement. Here we go. There's a wave, George. Nice little phone client in 2nd place. So he's had a good wave as well, 4.07.
And here he's hoping for a
Looking
reform.
for a reform,
because-
yeah.
But so that's interesting. So we've seen both Noah and George take pretty bad waves for the waves that are available out there.
Yeah.
But from a tactical point of view, you think, well, actually, is this a good move?
Well, he's going again. No, he's going to do a runaround.
What do you mean by run around?
I reckon he's going to come into the beach. He's going to grab his board, stick it under his arm, and then run right of screen, which will take him up towards the rocks here at the north end of Fistral,
Where there's a rip current.
where there is a bit of a rip, but also these guys are going to be drifting with this. This wind is blowing from right to left as we look on our screens. So the surfers are going to be paddling and drifting to the left, and can drift out of the contest area. And if they're outside the contest area, the judges won't judge them because
It's at the judge's discretion. I guess.
exactly, yeah. But I mean, they might get a little bit of leeway because the tricky conditions today. But it's hard for us now to kind of understand how the waves all tie in, because we missed Noah's 6.83, which would have set the standard for this heat. So the next heat that's going to be coming up, we've still got second semi-final of the under-18s. We'll be watching start to finish, and we'll have a better idea of what's going on.
I mean, we'll see Noah's second wave in a moment. We'll see what that score comes through as. And
it's still a nice little wave as well.
Yeah, I mean, 3 turns, so 2 decent turns, little fin release on the second turn, and that's come in at a 3.23, so literally just half of that 6.8.
Which makes me think his first wave was an out-back wave.
Yeah, so he took his 10-minute paddle out, like he suggested, all the way out, maybe did a couple of turns,
and got
we're just
rewarded.
speculating. But immediately, so when he comes in after this heat, because he'll still have, is he in the Open as well?
I don't think he is. I think he's doing the under-18s and the under-16s, so I think he's doing double duty anyway.
Yeah, so he's not in the Open, but so when it comes up to his under-18 final, he'll have a real good handle on the fact that, okay, I got a 6.83 for a wave from out the back. I surfed an inside wave really quite well, but only got a 3.2.
Yeah.
Right. Out the back is where I need to be.
And I think the head judges in next door are going to be jumping
Look
on
at that left out the
I
back.
know.
So that's 6 to 8 feet. If someone was on that, they would only be halfway up that wave, wouldn't they? You know, they would be off your screen if they bottom turned on this. But look at the turns you could be doing.
I really think that the head judge next door would have made sure that judges understand the concept that the surfers that take the time to get out back and catch the bigger waves should be rewarded for that time and effort.
There's a premium on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see Noah going again. He's obviously, I mean, imagine how far he's paddled already. He's already surfed for 40 minutes. He's now almost to the end of his last 20-minute heat.
I mean, he's only got just under 5 minutes to go.
So, I mean,
that won't go into his top 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is that going to balance up against his 3.23? And behind him, that looks like Finn with a quick up and down.
We saw George Carpenter's wave. That was a 2 point. Again, exactly half the score he got before. Roughly exactly half.
And Noah's going to do a run as well. He's going to put his board under an arm.
So that suggests that, you know, often when people have their very first surf lesson, or when they go to the beach and the lifeguards explain about currents, cross-shore currents, long-shore currents, rip currents. So a cross-shore current or a long current is when the current drags you across the beach from right to left, left to right, lateral along the beach. So that's what these surfs are getting caught in. And then they're making use of a rip current.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? If you're new to this and you happen to stumble across this feed, if you're ever in trouble in the sea, do you know what you do? Put your hand in the air, shout for help, and almost go with the current. And the most important thing is
never try and swim against a rip current.
Just stay
you
calm.
won't win.
Stay calm, and help will come. And stay with your board.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
But the thing these guys haven't got a problem with, because the rip's going to go from right to left today. If the wind was coming from our left, they have the rocks to deal with. They could get pushed towards the rocks, and then things get a little bit dangerous. But they haven't really got that problem today.
Do you know, I feel a little bit of trepidation. Should I tell you why?
Go on in.
Well, we are not concerned, but aware of the welfare of the surfers right now. I mean, it's heavy out there. It's big. There's currents, and there's full daylight.
Yeah.
In about 2 hours' time, it's going to be pitch black. At least there's no great whites out there. At least there's no sharks. But at high tide, the play area gets a bit smaller. You know, at high tide, it gets a bit more compressed as it comes up. There's this rocky headland here. But by that time, the open surfs will be in. So we've got one more under-18 boys with Christian Hammond, Barnaby Cox, Sam Taylor, and Finn Collins coming up next. So those boys are already making their way out there.
Well, I was just looking at the the Open, and Barnaby Cox is in the Open, and also Finn Gamblin in this heat. He's going to be in the Open.
But Barnaby's in the very next heat in the Open.
So these guys are doing. Are they doing triple duty?
But what's interesting is Barnaby is in the white in this heat, and it looks like he's going to be in the white in the Open as well. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe they said, "Dude, just stay out there."
If he's in the very first heat, Barnaby,
he is.
So he will stay in that colour. He can stay out the back.
Just get out there,
wherever he is. Wherever he is when this heat ends, or his heat ends, they'll say stay where you are or keep paddling out back. But I think at the high tide, like I say, it is a massive tide, so it's going to be quite high when it's still daylight, and we haven't got to worry about one thing we do have in the sun, which is trouble, which is glare from the sun reflecting off the ocean into our eyes, and even worse, the judges' eyes. It's going to set way down to the south.
So to the left-hand side of you.
To the left, yeah. You can kind of see. I mean, it looks gorgeous at the moment. If we're just looking over our shoulder through our netted screen, but that's not going to be a problem. Although I think there could
It
be a
feels like
squall
we need a little
coming.
succulent on our shelf.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit of brass.
Yeah.
Some horse brass and a succulent.
I think we've got a rain squall coming. I
That's
just think it looks like the
delightful.
wind's picked up ever so slightly.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
Little
white horses
tinge
on
there.
this. A slight texture on the ocean
A slight
surface.
texture. Yeah, not glassy, we might say. But
If you Lee,
Yep.
you've won like literally how many open or how many British titles? 11, 12, 14?
Open Seniors and Masters, I think it's 12.
You've won 12 British titles.
Yeah, but that's 3 different categories. That's spreading the wealth.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
Dream contest. What waves are you choosing?
Do you know what? I like onshore waves.
What size?
4 foot.
Oh,
I
so-
was always renowned for being very good in small waves.
You were quick.
Yeah, and that's what I need to do. And I'd have to play to my advantage, because there's no way I could outpower someone like yourself, who's 6 foot and
Yeah.
built. You know.
Just like a rock.
Yeah.
Well, that's obvious. No one
But
would think
you
that.
play to your strengths
You say that. Do you know what most of my victories came in?
in small surf.
2 foot waves.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like,
Yeah.
and it was always surprising. I always got myself super excited when, here we go. George trying to consolidate his second place position. So if he improves on a 2.07, let's see if he gets a little connection, a little slash. He's a good little surfer, actually, George. He's down from Sennen Way, and he's a real talent.
Can I ask a question?
No.
So
George,
because I wasn't doing the yourself and Nick were doing the Scottish and the Welsh leg of this. Why are requirements for first place for second and third and not second?
So it's partly to do with our video graphics and the algorithms we've got. So if we put up all of the requirements, it takes up a large amount of screen space.
Right.
We will go back into our video package and address that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you've got the requirement for second, for third, and it's all kind of. But we're working on it.
Because it does kind of weird me out a little bit, yeah. Because I mean, not that the guy's here, but from our point of view, it's, you know.
So
we're into semi-final number 2.
Looks like I didn't see Travis get a wave in
I think
there.
that's a Noah and a George.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
my eyes. I'm putting them through anyway. So well done, boys. You're in the
They're
final.
So here we go. Barnaby Cox in the red, Christian Hammond in the white, Sam Taylor in the yellow, and Mr. Finn Collins.
Finn Collins surfing with stitches in his elbow, which he picked up in Scotland. A couple of injuries in Scotland, actually.
What, by hitting the reef?
Yes. There was the day before the contest, there's a little Brim's Nest session going on, and a couple of the grommets, and Finn was one of them. Eating reef, cut his elbow, got some stitches, but he still went on to make the final of one of the categories up there. So he stuck with it, and also our water safety officer hit the reef at Brims as well and took all the skin off his nose. So well done to Frother if you're listening in London.
Here we go. Is this Finn Collins himself?
There he is. His dad is one of the judges, obviously not judging his heat, Gary. They do roster it so they're not judging their own next of kin, which is fair enough.
I think that's fair. So I don't think, no, that's not Travis Pierce. I think that is Finn Collins.
Yeah, it's definitely blue. So we might have a little bit of trouble if the guys do drift down a little bit. As you can see, this glare we were just talking about. How was that for timing? So that's one of our cameras. If the surfers drift to the left, that could be a bit of a problem. If they stay in front of the judges, that's not going to be a problem at all, even though there are 2 spotters next door as well.
Just real quick, on that shot, I don't know if we can get that shot back, but there's a really nice, just there on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a really nice little place to eat there.
Lewinnick.
The Lewinnick
Lodge.
Oh, here we go, surfer up and riding on the inside. So none of these boys have had a wave out the back just yet.
No. I did think they were trying to get out there. And it's going to be interesting to see, like I say, we've got the open surfers coming up next. So it's
All right, Lee, who are you expecting big things from in the open? We've still got 17 and a half minutes in this, so...
Do you know what I'm going to hashtag? I'm going to hashtag Johnny Fryer.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen Johnny surf for quite a while. He's kind of took a backseat, and I think
he's a great coach as well, actually.
I also think he's a former champion here.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. No, he's not. He's definitely made the final. I'll give him that.
He made a lot of finals
Although,
in his career.
I was actually looking at former champions. I think our winningest champion, and we haven't seen him compete this year, is Alan Stokes with 4.
Russ Winters.
Russ Winters got 3. And then after that, it's a mismatch of Duncan Scott's, Michael Lester's.
Do you know, I was looking for my name on here. I thought, oh, I must be on here somewhere. And then I remembered I never
You never won it?
I never won this event. and I don't mean to sound like a tool, but...
No, it kind of works like that. Like, you need to win it to be on the, the winners list.
Yeah,
there's always that.
But then I sort of remembered I always somehow had a bit of a shocker. Maybe I just don't like surfing at night.
It's tricky. And that's something we could talk about later on when it does get dark, the difference between surfing in daylight and artificial light and picking up waves, and the trouble you have then.
Because essentially, to light the waves up, the lights are on the shore. We'll pick up on it later more, but they're on the shore and they're shining out to sea.
It's an unnatural light.
But then, so when you're in the water and you look back to shore,
you're
blinded, and then you look out to sea and it's dark. It's actually it's frightening.
Yeah. I mean, we could pick up on it now. There's no waves ridden at the moment. Because one of the things surfers look at in normal daylight is shadows. And if you've gone to the beach and you see surfers and they all start paddling in one direction, like someone saying, follow me, they're not saying follow me, they've just seen a shadow out to sea.
A set.
A set, and sets of waves. So the darker the wave is...
What's a set?
A set of waves is a number of waves larger than previous waves. So you get, over here it's kind of like 3 or 4 waves in a set.
And it's wave grouping in the wave
Yeah,
frame,
it's just the wave frequency kind of regiments itself. And the way to be in the best position is to see the darkest part of the wave is the steepest part of the wave. So when you see all these surfers all paddling in one direction, it does look like it's choreographed. There's normally never a word spoken amongst surfers when a set's coming. You're just trying to get in the best position. And you lose that shadow.
That's what was going on when I was trying to be playful with you in the sea league. That's all these years.
It's all about the inside.
And I thought it was just personal.
No, it's all about the inside. But the shadow's one thing we all lose with the artificial light.
And age.
And age, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can see out the back there's a nice dark shadow, even though it's disappeared. But when the light's shining from the beach outwards, you haven't got that.
It throws it.
Yeah,
throws those shadows
really,
way out.
So you just rely on instinct. Something, these guys have been surfed however many thousands of waves in their lifetime. Here we go. This is White. This is Barnaby. He's going to be in the Open in the very next heat. So I wonder if he's going to save his energy, or do you reckon he can't really afford to do that?
Do you know what? Do you not remember when you were in the under-18s?
Nope.
Okay.
I was never in the under-18s.
1970. No. So I think if you're in the under-18s, it depends on your career projection. It depends on your aspirations. If you're a 16-year-old that's touted as a future world champion, you want to go in the Open and start winning. The likes of Russell Winter. Do you remember when he won the?
He won the Europeans. He won the Europeans at 15. He won the under-18s Europeans at 15 years old.
And do you remember? I think it was the British or the English. He won up in Newcastle, and he won the under-16s, the under-18s, and the Open at 16.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. But so then your aspirations, your focus is on the Open division, I would say. But when you're in the under-18s, it's one of your last years. You want to win that division because you're not expected to win against the likes of Jay Quinn, Luke Dillon, Josh Ash, Ruben Ash. You're not expected to win against those names.
Yeah.
So this, for me, if I was 18, this would be my. It would be where my focus would be. So we've got.
Just had a message here from our former water safety officer, who's now been replaced because he smashed his face on the reef in Scotland. How you doing, Proffer? Glad you're listening, mate. And your face is all healed. You couldn't tell. You honestly couldn't tell. Your face is that messed up anyway. You couldn't tell any of it.
So Barnaby Cox, we caught the end of his wave, and you've got to understand, dear viewer, that it's so difficult to film surfers at the best of times, even at a nice lined-up point break. In these conditions, oh look at that, gorgeous.
That's looking down.
What's that rock called?
I was going to say it's Goose. I don't think it is Goose though.
A long time ago, we were thinking about big wave surfing, and there was actually a little bommy off the back there, a left-hander that we were looking at.
Well, there's the Zorbon.
Yeah,
which no one, to my knowledge, has ever surfed.
Mole and I were looking at it very closely.
It still hasn't been surfed, as far as I know.
It looked relatively horrible.
Yeah, but it breaks into open water, whereas the Cribber breaks onto
death.
headland.
We did surf that and
Yeah.
nearly lost our lives there. It was
Exactly.
hilarious.
Whereas Zorbon breaks almost like an underwater mountain range where it doesn't actually peek out through the water. It just goes into flat water afterwards.
That's got potential.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever dived it? Oh,
I
here we
imagine
go.
so. I know a few people would fish over there off their boats. Okay, so this is Christian in the red. Just a quick up and down there for Christian, trying to get on the score.
Do you know what always gets me in waves like this? Do you know how you get through heats like this?
Keep him busy.
Psychological. I think you have to put yourself in a headspace to go, do you know what, this is going to be workmanlike. I'm not out here to have like a great surf.
Yeah.
I just need to put a couple of scores on the board. Do something. Give
Yeah.
the judges something to score, because the chances of 2 people getting 2 5s in this, it's not going to happen.
You're probably looking at a pair of 3s will get you through heats at this level at the moment.
And a pair of 3s right now, we saw Noah
Yeah.
in that last heat. We saw George Carpenter get 2s and 3s
Yeah.
halfway out
And
on
we
the
saw
inside.
Finn got a 3.17 on that little left-hander reforming
And I
thing. So
don't think Barnaby took off from all the way outside for his 5 either.
no, he probably just found a little
inside with
reform.
that.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Would you
like,
go out the back now?
Well, I was just gonna ask you a question.
Oh, damn it.
I know I shouldn't answer shouldn't answer a question with a question. But
No, but-
how would you play? You got 2 ways of running a heat. You either do the patience game, where you try and pick your waves, or you roll the dice and go law of averages.
Okay.
What do you do?
Well, what would you do? No,
What?
I'll
is it-
answer.
Okay, a quick answer from me.
Yeah.
I was always very patient with heats. I'd never catch 8 waves in a heat, so I'd play the patience game.
Yeah, I was always really patient. I would sit out the back, get an 8, and then I would sit out the back and not get another score and get beaten.
Get
So
beat
my
by someone with
patience-
2 4 5s.
So I think my personal speciality was surfing a 25-minute heat in a 20-minute heat.
Yeah.
Here we go, and White is
Barnaby.
Barnaby Cox trying to get around that section. He decides that's not for him. But yeah, I absolutely my best heats were always if I got off to a quick start, as we see Finn Collins having a look here. Let's see if he can take this through to the inside. And this is why they're working on it. They're waiting, because he doesn't know there's going to be a section.
Yeah.
He's just gambling. He's sticking with it. And this is what I mean. It's workmanlike.
Like
Come on.
He's
give me
literally gone in
something.
a straight line because the wave hasn't peeled
turning.
either way. But he's been trying to do manoeuvre. I mean, that wave's going to be better than his 1.0. So the requirements for Christian and Sam in 3rd and 4th are going to go up ever so slightly.
And so for us to work out now what he needs to get into second.
Barnaby's doing the run around already.
So
and
the total-
tide's getting quite high. And we're still a couple of hours off high tide. So this is looking good.
Hello. Hi.
Ah.
Hey. What's he doing?
He's asking Nick to tell him what's going on. So this is probably the only time they're going to get to hear what position they are, how long's left, and what they need as a requirement if they're in 3rd or 4th.
So he's desperate now to get his second scoring wave. So
Yeah.
he's going to say, so Nick can tell him, the beach commentator can say, right, Barnaby, your first wave was
Yeah.
a 5.0. You are in the lead. Your second wave is X,
Yeah.
2.5, I would imagine, depending
Yeah.
on what. And so you can work out, actually, you can see that Christian Hammond needs to get higher than a 4.17 total. So he's got 1.07.
So he needs a 3.
He needs a 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that nasty little rock there.
Well, this is north. This is high tide. The tide has come in so quick because we're on spring tide. It's 7.25 metre.
Or is that a 25-foot great white shark?
This is it. This is high tide. This is almost at high tide. I'm looking over my shoulder right now. So
It's lapping at
Yeah.
our very foundations.
it is indeed. So this is going to make things easier. Maybe it's going to be easy for the judges because they're not struggling to see these guys half a mile away out to sea. It's going to be easier for our cameramen to pick up. And just like that, when they do the run around, if they do a run around, they're going to hear where they are in the heat. I mean, Barnaby's going to be thinking, okay, I'm on first. He's got 2 waves. He's just extended his lead because he got a 1.83 on that second backup wave. So
But Finn, look, he got a 2.67. So
Yeah.
suddenly his total is 5.8, and now all of a sudden, Christian doesn't need a 3 anymore. Now he needs a 4.8.
yeah. So whatever Finn does to improve his backup wave, that is going to be added onto the requirement of Christian and Sam's requirements.
And a 4.8 is easy, right? You'd get that with your eyes shut.
You would normally.
But in the context of a heat like this, that's almost the highest scoring wave of the
This is
heat.
the second best wave of the heat. Yeah.
Which then suddenly puts it into context and you go, okay, actually that's not quite that easy.
And also, I mean, I don't know. Did you ever surf with a watch?
I did.
You did,
I
because a
did.
lot of surfers don't surf with a watch,
Ah,
and I never
they-
really understood that.
Do you know what? Although I quite like talking about my past glories and surfing career, it does pain me. The older I get, the more I look back on all the mistakes I made. So just, I know it could have been a lot worse, but it could have been a heck of a lot better as well. There
Yeah,
was so
when,
many.
when you get to my age, mate, the older you get, the better you were.
Oh, you were.
You just honestly,
Hey,
oh mate, honestly, that's how it works. That's life.
I used to dread having you in the heat just because you knew you were going to put a couple of good scores up, and it wasn't ever going to be an easy heat.
Yeah, but that was my only good thing, is I never really fell off a lot. So
Yeah.
I was very consistent. I was never over radical. I just stuck to my game plan, and if I was outsurfed, I was outsurfed. But they're saying that I did smash a few boards in through disgust and frustration. You
Here
know?
we go. Now he's looking for that 4 point something. That's not going to be it. And he's
No.
got plenty of time. He's got 6.5 minutes.
But
But
this goes back to the watches. How many of these guys can actually hear the start of the hooter? They could be duck diving, you know, or the sound could be travelling away from them. Maybe Christian's going to do a run around.
But I'm seeing that the surfer in pink or in red already paddling out. So
That's the
that
next
looks like
heat.
Miles Lee Hargreaves paddling out for the heat number 1 in
Yeah.
the men's open. Now the men's open, in a moment we're going to have a look at the ratings as they stand. There's some interesting permutations going on. So we've got
I was going to say we have lost a couple of surfers, but not in the open because
what,
there's
just out at sea. 'cause
yeah
it's so
they've
big.
gone. Now there's an ISA World Games in California right now.
The
so,
juniors.
Yeah, so we have lost a couple of the juniors as far as girls and boys, but as far as the open goes, everybody's here who should be.
So we've got Jay Quinn. We've got Ruben Ash, who's got a commanding lead. So it's Ruben's to throw away, right? Is that
Pretty
fair
much.
to say?
Yeah.
If he makes the final,
If
he
he-
more or less wins, but
Well, the way to look at it, Jay's in with a shout. If Jay wins this event, and Ruben finishes 4th or worse, Jay will be champion.
so this is Jay Quinn. He's
Jay
a,
Quinn.
a
So he's-
long-time pro surfer from New Zealand.
Yeah, he's ranked number 2. If Ruben goes out in round 1 for whatever reason, then that brings in 3 surfers in contention, which is Miles in the red. We see
The
paddling
middle
out.
of your screen.
There we go.
Who's about to get a couple
disappeared.
of waves on the head.
Ruben, who's going to be coming up as well in heat number 4.
Yeah.
And Luke Dillon in heat number 7, and they are our top 4 seeds for the event anyway. So it is Ruben's to throw away.
But in these conditions, it's hard enough to even just getting out there.
I mean, just looking at the consistency of Ruben, he's surfed in 3 events. He's won 2 of them. Came 3rd at the very first event, the Surfers Pro down at Watergate. He missed an event, the Snowdonia, because he was in Japan surfing for the UK.
Same with Jay Quinn. They both missed the same event.
And so did Luke.
Yeah.
So our top 3 surfers going into Snowdonia weren't available because they were surfing for Team GB.
Which makes it exciting.
But they're still the top 3 surfers, pretty much.
Hey, the cream to the top.
Well, this is it.
But what's interesting on here is that so how many of your events do all of your events count? Or is
No.
it the top? Is it your best 3 results?
I think
best 4
out of
results?
5 it's 3, but we do need to get some clarification on that. Because if it's adjusted, it really is. Because there's a couple of events where a couple of these ones where it's already a foregone conclusion, like in the women's, for example, Emily
Emily's
Curry
won.
can't be beaten. She's got a second, a second, and a second. So throw away this event, it doesn't matter. She's already won. And same with Noah Caps as well. I think Noah Caps has won under 16 boys. He's had a 5th, then a first, and a first. So this is
No matter what happens,
in the
he's
under
won.
16s. He's won
And
that.
Sol
so-
Hawkins second there.
But for the Open, things
It's
are going to
all
get pretty
to
tricky.
play for.
Yeah.
And that makes it exciting.
Well, looking at this, it's good to see all the surfers have got a couple of scores under the belt. That's the main thing. We did see a couple of heats in Scotland when no one caught a wave, and you kind of feel bad for the surfer. 3 minutes remaining. It's all about that second place. Can Finn Collins hold on?
Do you know what? You've surfed a few night surfs, haven't you?
Yeah.
And how is that twilight? You know,
Do you know what?
when
That's
it's
the
pitch,
worst light,
yeah,
I think. Yeah.
When it's pitch black, you go, okay, I kind of understand, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm slightly concerned whether the light, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm slightly concerned whether the light, the artificial light,
Reach.
will actually
Yeah.
reach out the back. Where the surfer in blue is, maybe. Where the surfer in red is, just behind the scoreboard at the moment, yeah, I could imagine that reaching. But out the back, I'm not so sure. I mean, that could be frightening. Being in
Yeah.
the pitch black in 6 to 8 foot waves.
This is something that Dave Reed, Mike Durkin, and our surf lifesaver, Jack Hughes, are going to have to put their heads together and talk about whether it's going to be safe or not. I mean, if need be, we could maybe go on hold for a bit for the tide to come fully in.
But it's high tide at 7.
Yeah, this is it. So it's going to be high tide really soon. I don't even know what time it is.
It's 5:30 right now.
There you go. So there's still an hour and a half till high tide, and this is already touching the wall behind us. I guess we're going to find out. Like I said, this is uncharted territory for Dave and all these competitors, because it's never been this big for the night surf before.
It's good though. It's pushing boundaries.
It's pushing paddling. You got a little break like that. You got a little break, and that's the time when you want to put your head down, get your paddle rhythm going, just so you can kind of build up your.
And so, if
paddle.
you are just joining us, welcome. This is the Smart Parking Night Surf, brought to you by the UK Pro Surf Association. So this is the UK Pro Surf Tour, and it's awesome actually seeing what's possible, bringing this webcast live to you, streaming via the UK Pro Surf Tour website, also being brought to you live via Facebook. We've got a few really cool partners on board who are carrying this webcast. Here we go, and this is the surfer in blue, it looks like.
What is that, a free surfer? I'm going to go free
That
surfer.
is a free surfer. That almost looks like Sam Smart or someone.
That could well have been Seb. Could have been Seb Smart. Is Seb? I don't know if Seb's in this.
I can't see him.
No, maybe it was Sam. Sam currently holding on to 7th place. He was our roving reporter, and he kind of roved so far that he stopped reporting.
So with just half a minute to go, we've got Barnaby Cox in the lead. Finn Collins just kind of consolidated his 2nd place with a 2.67. Then we have
Sam Taylor in the yellows getting absolutely pummeled there.
and it's good, he's sort of out there, he's trying to make something happen.
Still paddling. How do you get past that stage where your shoulders are just done and you still got to keep paddling?
Do you want the best bit of advice I ever give anyone who cares to listen? When you want to get out the back, but we'll just let you get to the end of this heat. Alright, and that is it, we believe. So that's the end of under 18 boys semi-final. So it looks like Barnaby Cox and Finn Collins going through, and they will meet Noah Capps and George Carpenter in the final, which will be tomorrow, and that will be round about, if things go according to plan. As we have a recap, this is Finn Collins here, working this wave over, looking for the section. Nice little connection there, rides out of it, so that's complete.
Sunny back then as well.
Ah, beautiful.
And this was I think, what did I say? This is a 3.17, and this was his backup wave. That's all he needed. This was the wave that went nowhere, but it was enough to get him through, or consolidate that 2nd place. And now he's into the final. And conditions for tomorrow, slightly smaller.
Slightly smaller, which is a good thing, I
Yeah.
think. And this was a free surfer.
Not sure.
I'm sure the judges won't be too harsh. All right, so here are the under 18 boys semi-finalists coming into the beach. And now we are into the men.
The big boys.
So tomorrow, so that's it for the under 18 boys. All we have left for you now is the open heats. So the surfers are out the back. The cameramen will be straining their lenses to see if they can pick out our surfers as soon as they paddle into waves. And it's wild out there, isn't it? Look at that. It's all over the shop. It's unruly as you like. But so the under 18 boys final is scheduled to be at around about 7:30 in the evening tomorrow. And here we have the under 18 leaderboard. Noah Capps,
Oh, look out
Barnaby
for
Cox.
a tie for first. So this is all down to this event. No Patrick Landon. So this is really a fight for between Noah and Barnaby.
Wow, so essentially whoever finishes higher.
Yep. In the final tomorrow.
That's awesome, isn't it?
That's,
Set up beautifully.
I know, yeah.
It's been brought to a simmer nicely.
You can't write this. There's a good tag.
Oh, we should do that.
We should copyright that, shouldn't
Yeah,
you?
you can't write this.
Can't write this or script this.
You can't write this. You can't
think
edit
of this.
No, you can't fake this. No, you can't. I've heard that
You
somewhere
can't come
before.
up with this stuff.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would be a great one.
Maybe get some T-shirts made up for next year.
What about even if you tried, you couldn't come up with the stuff?
This is dream.
Yeah.
This is dreamlike.
Right, here we go. Men's Open leaderboard. Ruben Ash, Jay Quinn, who essentially have got it all to play for. Miles Lee Hargreaves, not a million miles away.
No,
Then Patrick Langdon-Dark, Luke
not
Dillon.
here. Patrick's not here. So once again, if Ruben goes out in this round, Jay, Miles, and Luke are in with a shout for the title. We'll have to get Dave to give us the. Well, we'll see if once this round completes, we're going to see if Ruben's into the next round or not. So.
And it sounded like the horn in the background suggests that the heat has started now. Do we have any brave souls out there? We've got Johnny Fryer in the blue. George Carpenter is back out there in the
and
yellow.
Barnaby.
Barnaby back out there in the white and in the red. Miles Lee Hargreaves. He was making a real concerted effort. I surfed with him over in Morocco, and he's not scared. He can handle himself out there.
Do you know, under competition conditions, he's very intense. He's super competitive, which is what you need to win. And I imagine if he doesn't get out back, he'll be more annoyed. If he doesn't go through, he'll be more annoyed that he didn't get out back.
Really?
Yeah. I would be, wouldn't you?
Hold on, say that again.
Would you be more annoyed that you got knocked out, or would you be more annoyed that you couldn't get out back?
I'd be out the back.
Yeah. Oh, you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody is just off to the right there. I'm not sure who that was. Just onto this. Here we go. Miles Lee Hargreaves up and riding.
And he's out there. So this is interesting. He decided, I'm out of here. There might be a few more points left on that wave, but why would he kick out halfway out?
Because the points are in the most critical part of the wave, and you're not going to get big points surfing Whitewater. So here we go. Goofy foot up and riding. That's going to say Johnny Fryer. Johnny Fryer with
his
cap
helmet on.
Maybe
he's looking for a section.
Was that him warming up? That couldn't have been.
No.
A former finalist here at the Night Surf. Very distinctive style.
So that turn he did before that was actually the biggest turn we've captured.
Captured,
so far.
yes. We didn't see everything, and that just leaves our two juniors, Barnaby and George, who will be feeling the pressure now, having both surfed maybe a couple of times already today, up against these fresh men.
Are you calling Johnny Fryer fresh?
I'm calling Johnny Fryer a man.
He is a
Look at that man paddle.
He's taking his time. So what I was coming on to before, when you're paddling out in a competition, what I would say is get your head down and paddle as fast as you possibly can, because if you paddle at a languid pace, every time the wave pushes you back a little bit, you're not making up any ground.
You're not making ground, yeah.
Whereas if you put your head down and really scratch and race to get out the back, at least you're making ground. You know, you get pushed back 20 yards, but you paddle 30 yards forward. Here we go. Oh, Miles. See?
That gives you an idea of the size, because Miles isn't a short person.
That was a nice turn.
Coming through.
Can he connect again? Nice smooth surfing.
Yeah. And again, surf coach, so he understands the concept of surfing heats.
That was a
and complete as well.
So what's really nice about that wave is that we saw it from start to finish, and this time he's gone, do you know what? There's, oh goodness me, we've just been presented with fish and chips.
That smells so good. Is this a test? Just put it in front of us to see if we can commentate without stuffing our faces.
Should we show you this real quick, and then we'll maybe can we get a replay of Miles's wave in a moment after our fish and chip?
From
look at that, that's gorgeous, isn't it?
The size of these nugs. Look at that, look.
What part of the fish is that?
It's like a golf ball. I think it's a leg.
Do you think? A fish leg?
Yeah.
Nice, we've got fish legs, and these are from Rick Stein, so one of Cornwall's greatest exports.
Just I like that. That's well placed.
Unfortunately, I've kind of not taken a vegan vow, but a chip's still alright, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a try how Rick makes his chips.
Yeah. Cooked in goose fat.
Oh, now
you go into hell.
Now you tell me. They're not bad chips. Right.
No, it's not bad everything. I'm going to put the lid down so they stay warm. Oh, you're going to eat? Okay.
Here we go. Should we have a look at the replay?
Look at the size of this wave for a start. This is the biggest wave we've
Can we pause
seen
this
all
a
day.
second? In a moment. Oh, that was nice. That was nice.
Snap. So he's done 2 solid turns, and like you said, he's thought.
Okay, give me a score. Give me a score.
I'm gonna go 7.
I'm gonna go 7, 5, 8. I might even go as high as 8.
I don't. Are you okay? It'll be interesting to see because.
Do you know why? Because I've not seen anything like this today.
No. But then I think they're gonna have to adjust the scale because it's the Open, and also leave room for. Because the first turn was like there was no real lip attack. Everything was kind of projected.
We're looking for him. We're looking for him.
So we've got a couple of scores come through. Here we go. Young Barnaby.
7-3-3.
Oh, right in the middle.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be kicked off the panel for that.
No, I think 8 would have been a bit high. I think you're absolutely right, because it was by far the best wave we've seen, but he's backed it up already with a 5.67.
Well, the 5.67 was his first wave.
Yeah.
And the 7.33 was his second. Johnny Fry's first wave, his opening wave, was a 4.33. Another score coming through for blue and also for white. And George, we have yet to see. He might have caught a wave. We can't see everyone at the same time. We've only got 2 cameras, so if all 4 surfers are up and riding, 2 of our surfers are going to lose out as far as being watched. 14 and a half minutes. In
But
this
the level stepped up. I mean, so
instantly.
So this on the inside, so George Carpenter would have probably got through. Or this is
Barnaby.
That's Barnaby.
Yeah.
So he would have probably got through his under-18 semi-final, looking for those halfway out waves, those reforms.
And I can hear in my head the head judge going,
Nah,
that's inside.
Yeah.
That 2 max.
So yeah, so what happened? Right, okay, Lee. Topic of conversation. I know that you jotted down a few little ideas before.
Oh, go on, pick a number.
One of them, pick a number. Which number was one maneuver 10s?
Oh, well, that was pick number 10.
Okay, number 10, point of discussion.
Okay, number 10. 1 maneuver, 10-point
Okay.
rides.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
how
okay.
apt.
Well,
So-
good choice.
Imagine if you had a Toledo in there.
Yeah.
He takes off on a reform inside.
Yeah.
And does a monster. We go having a look. He does a monster full rotation air, or a Medina does a big backflip.
Yep.
On an inside section.
Yeah.
Where do you go with that score? Today,
Mid-5?
mid-5.
Mid-5.
For the best air you've ever seen.
Yeah, but you have to allow yourself room for if someone does that maneuver out the back. If you give that a 10 on the inside and then someone out the back does exactly the same maneuver on a wave twice the size, you can't say that they were equal. My argument is a surfer should never get a 10.
That's Slater's argument, and I'm
Okay.
down with that. I agree
yeah.
with you.
You should never get a 10 because nothing.
You can always be deeper. You can always carve
You
harder.
can always
go
improve.
higher.
Exactly. And that's just given a massive score for an inside wave. What happens if that maneuver is done out the back?
Well, we saw it at Chopes, didn't we? That a few years ago, we saw one of the best barrels anyone had ever seen, and they gave it a 10. And then, sure enough, 2 waves later, I think Conan Hayes took off, and it was 2 points better.
Yeah.
But they'd spent their 10.
Exactly.
And there was argument say, hey, that should have been a 12.
And also, one thing that did come to light in Scotland, because I was doing the beach commentary up there, and I was sat next to our head judge.
In the cold.
In the cold.
Is this while we were
in the
commentating
car
with
park?
pizza? Oh,
No, while you weren't commentating, while you were eating your pizza.
Oh, yeah,
I was
with
yeah,
beer.
Yeah, I was in the car park full of cow poo. Anyway,
Okay, nice.
that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But we watched away from Jay Quinn, and we both watched it live, and both thought 9s.
Yeah.
We then managed to see it on the replay, which is running about a minute and a half behind real time, and we watched it on the replay, and we were like, "Oh, that wasn't a 9. That looks more like a 7." So we do lose stuff in 2 dimensions that you don't see in real life, if that makes any sense.
But
at
you
all.
went higher in real life.
Yeah.
See, often, do you know who's often been a victim of that the other way round is Mick Fanning.
Right.
Where in real life, you look at it and go, wow, that was the perfect turn in the perfect place with speed and precision and spray. And you see scores being dropped in the 8 and 9 range, but when you see it on the webcast, it doesn't look as impressive.
Yeah.
And
No, well, this is what I was just saying that. In real life, it looked really good, and then on the replay, it looked okay.
so what do you go with then? Which score would you give? Would you give your real life 9, or would you give your webcast 7? Oh,
You have to go with your gut feeling. It's
Real
and
life.
I remember Barton Lynch saying that it's a very to give a score, to be a judge, it's a I'll think of the word in a minute.
a nightmare.
No, it's not a nightmare. It's an instinctual thing.
It's a gut reaction.
It's a gut reaction. Yeah, it's an emotional reaction to what you've just witnessed in real time, and you do lose some of that. So I think for us to come between a 7 and a 7.5 after watching that for Miles' high score, I like it because it means we're on the same
Here
wavelength
we go,
as the
having a look on the
judges.
inside. So he's thought, all right, this is sort of 2/3 of the way out. Didn't really get a section there.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not up by his 5, 6,
That's-
7.
Yeah, he's going out. I mean, at the moment, he's looking pretty good. A 13-point combination. Second place at the moment now, Barnaby Cox with a 1.33. So just that little
Look,
white water.
look, Johnny Fryer with a 4.33. I would imagine Johnny is either that might be him right out the back. He's got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He needs a nothing. You know, he needs.
But does he know that?
I think he knows he's only got one wave.
Yeah.
I know he knows that it wasn't a belter.
No.
It was all right. He said, okay, that's a score for today, but it's not an 8. We all know when we get an 8.
Yeah, he's still paddling, so he's. I mean, and Johnny's won the English Open. He's not shy of winning contests, and he also does surf coaching as well. So, another thing I was going to ask you, I see Johnny's wearing a hood.
Yeah.
in a heat, I mean, it's not really cold at the moment. I mean, we're at the end of October. The water's still around about 15 degrees, which is still kind of quite mild. Johnny's wearing a hood. Is there any chance he's going to be overheated? Because in a heat, if you're hot, it's easier to cool down than if you're cold to warm up. And you always find in a heat, you're working twice as hard. Because for whatever reason, when someone puts a time restriction on you, things just go out the window.
Yeah.
You know, rationale just disappears, and a 2-hour free surf is easy compared to a 20-minute heat.
You've got to manage it, don't you?
Yeah, but is he going to be cooking? I mean, I know he shaves his head,
but he's got enough experience and knows what he likes.
Yeah.
And I would always say, when you're surfing in the heat, be as comfortable as you possibly can. Wear a wetsuit that you're comfortable in. Surf a board that you've got trust and faith in. You know, set your heat up so that everything feels as... So you have to think about as few things as possible. So Johnny Fryer will know how he feels when he surfs, whether he wants a hood or not, and he's gone with that gut instinct. He's gone with that feeling. For me, I would probably be out there either in a short arm, because I know that I'll be paddling from here to the moon, that I will be overheating, that I will be getting quite, het up, and so I would definitely gravitate towards a thinner suit, as little neoprene as possible. I'll be riding a board that's quite heavy or heavy-ish. I would make sure that it's a board that feels good in these kind of waves.
So why would you say a heavy board for people who are initiated?
You know, there's a lot of power in those waves. We just saw, we saw Miles take off on a wave that was 8 feet. It was 4 foot overhead. It was a solid wave. There's enough push and power and speed in the waves that you don't need a light board to skip over sections. As we see Johnny Fryer having a look. Now he's starting to think.
Panic waves.
I need a little wave here. I need to make something happen. I'm okay, but I need to get moving now. So here he goes. No, decides that hasn't got any scoring potential. He couldn't quite get into it. But so, I think he's fine in his hood.
Yeah,
What I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd be the same as you though. I'd probably be in a 3-2.
Yeah.
Because it's if you're overheating, you just open your neck. You can take a scoop of water, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But when you're cold and you're paddling this hard, you can't warm up unless you kind of weird your suit, which surfers do from time to time.
Never.
But then that only warms your legs anyway, and it doesn't really affect the rest of your suit. Just
So
gets you in
let
trouble
that-
with a girlfriend
so-
later on when you hang up in the bathroom.
We'll might pick that line of conversation up later, but maybe not. But so, why would you surf a heavy board? I would say it's because we saw that wave of Miles's, the 733, the best wave we've seen so far today. He didn't flick his board around. He didn't bust his fins. He didn't do an air. He simply put his board on a rail and drove through his turns.
Yeah. There's a lot of texture on the water which can make your board skip and dance, and a heavy board just kind of plows through that.
And when I talk about a heavy board, I'm also talking about a slightly floppy board, in the sense that I wouldn't want a board with carbon on it. I wouldn't want a board that was made of epoxy,
Yeah.
or EPS foam. I would want traditional materials.
Yeah.
And just that, way more about board manufacture than I ever will. So, is it possible to get that nice flex pattern into an epoxy board? Can you mix the epoxy differently to make it? When you look at the pro surfers, when you look at the guys on the world tour, when they surf a wave like Margaret River, which has days when it's got this sort of character, there's not many that stay on epoxy. There's Michel Perez.
I was going to say maybe Michel Perez, and that's a bit about it.
You know?
Slater doesn't really surf Margaret's anymore. His foot's too bad for waves he doesn't like. So
Sweepingly. Here we go. Let's have a look. Maybe one of the guys has picked him up.
something happening somewhere.
We've got the little cursor on the screen there.
Is that pointing to a surfer? Nope, here we go, Miles again. So he's going to try and open up his lead. Nice big smooth roundhouse. This could get rid of his 5.67 if he connects it. And you say, not going absolutely mad, just solid rail surfing.
Can we see that again? Can we see that in a replay?
Come on, Henry, do
Wonderful.
something. Stop eating.
So what I liked about this is the carve. He had the patience.
Yeah.
And he also gave himself lots of space on the wave face. And don't forget, the judges, like we said, are nearly half a mile away from this.
Well, not anymore.
Oh no, actually,
Not anymore.
But if we slow it down before he connects and stop. What I would have liked to have seen him do is connect a bit higher.
Yeah.
He comes into the whitewater a bit low, but that
Kind of like 1 o'clock.
yeah.
Half past 1. That's not too bad.
But
Okay, yeah.
It's a little bit early, and that takes
Yeah.
a lot of the. It's not quite as dynamic as it could have been, but
It's semi-safe.
it's semi-safe.
Yeah.
But we've seen how difficult
Yeah.
it is to get waves. And I mean, look at the size of that thing.
I still think that's going to be the second best wave in this heat.
6.
Yeah.
And then
Even that
back
second
up.
turn was a nice. He didn't do a 2-stage cutback. He didn't.
Can
double
we see that
pump.
again and just pause it halfway through the carve?
And can we have some graphics this time? Like
Can we
arrows,
get a little
arrows and
pointer
stuff.
pen?
Keep in.
So what's nice is that he's given himself lots of space and then stop. So there, see how much space he's got to work with. He's painting a nice big picture for the judges.
But look at his eyes. What's he looking at?
He's looking at where he's going to hit it.
Exactly.
The eyes lead the way, and then as he connects with the whitewater, if we pause it just as he starts to come round again,
He could have delayed this, like you say, a half a second.
just
He did pull the trigger slightly early.
this turn's a
Yeah.
little bit too early.
Yep.
He didn't really get that rebound. But
I mean, we're picking the eyes out of this.
of course we are.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah.
And then just here, as he connects to it, if he comes round, and now he'll pick his head up again and look there. Now he's looking, what's
Where-
next?
Where am I going now?
Am I doing an off the lip?
Yeah.
Am I doing another carve? And at this point, he's deciding what angle to approach the next section at.
Yeah.
And then if we just play it through, he's decided, okay, the wave's going fat. I'm going to just swoop out, another carve, hold the rail. That was lovely, actually. I
Yeah.
liked his body position.
That was good.
That's good. Let's see what he scored for it. A 2. No. See, there you go, 7.
Yeah.
So, and that was for 2.
2 cutbacks, basically.
Are we saying safe waves?
2 cutbacks.
And that was 2/3 of the way out. That wasn't even a bomb set.
Yeah, that wasn't. I mean, it was probably higher than his first wave because it's more rail work, more power. He didn't do double pumps between maneuvers. Here we go, young
Now
Barnaby
this
trying to
is-
hold. This is very important for
This is
Barnaby.
dangerous.
Yeah, this is already better than a 1.33. And if he,
Ooh, a little bit impatient there, but he rides out a bit safe.
nice
Good little finish.
whitewater turns, but still turns. He's going to be getting
I like his
quarter
surf.
scores for
Do you know
that.
what? I like the surfing. That was good.
This is going to put the. Even though Johnny doesn't understand what's going on in the heat because he probably can't hear anything, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble because that's going to be maybe
5?
better than his 4.73.
5-5.
I mean, we didn't see the beginning of it.
But Miles just got a 7 for 2 cutbacks, which were on edge, powerful,
Yeah.
with speed, on a decent sized
And a green kind of open face, whereas that was maybe a bit white-watery, but
Cheapers, Johnny Fryer. He's
Johnny's
got
in
2
trouble.
minutes to make something happen.
Johnny's
here.
in trouble. We were saying 8 minutes ago how he's got plenty of time with 10 minutes, and Johnny's got a backup wave of a 1.43. He's going to need something substantially larger after this last wave of white. So
Also
this
Miles
is
just making his way in.
yeah, he's had enough.
Well, what a heat to put together. A couple of 7s.
Yeah. And Mars has been really solid in his early rounds. In Wales, he came up a bit short in the semi-finals, and he was unlucky in Scotland as well.
George has just gone, do you know what?
George is
This
like,
I'm
is he?
done."
When do I paddle out? George is done. And fair play to George again. He was in the under 18s, and was he in the under 16s as well? Yes, he was. He was in the under 16s, so he's been surfing a lot.
So with a minute to go, we need some action from Johnny Fryer if he wants to progress. And Johnny Fryer, before the heat, you'd say he'd have to be one of the favourites.
Going with seeding. He was the he was the number 4 seed because he hasn't really competed this year.
But from his past glories, you'd
Well, from
expect him to.
a former finalist out here, definitely, and a former English Open champion.
And our camera team is just trying to pick them out of the who's at the Turner-esque canvas. Who did the amazing seascapes? Turner's more famed for his green English landscapes, isn't he? He did some sea paintings, though, didn't he? So we're still waiting for Barnaby's last ride.
I think he's going to be
Oh,
mildly surprised.
Johnny.
And this is one of these on a day like today, the way they're either going to come
Here we
your way or
go,
they're
here
not.
we go. He needs this. Can he get over the lump? He's in. It's before the end of the heat. He needs to connect this. He needs to connect a turn. He skips past one section. Nice slash.
That board's looking pretty small, pretty
Another
loose.
hit. He doesn't want to give this up.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be enough. Looking at that wave and Barnaby's last wave, I'd have
Needs
to
to
give them
finish
to
strong.
Barnaby.
He needs this wave to give him something. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think he was guilty of missing a section then. If he'd really
Yeah.
committed and fully gone for it, he was surfing for a 3.54. He probably needed a 5.5.
Yeah.
In order to get a 5.5, he would have had to attack that much harder.
You see the disgust. I think he knows in himself he didn't get the wave. He just kind of.
No, no,
I
no.
reckon he's boiling. He's just, I reckon he's absolutely cooking with that hood. But that board looks super loose. That little Merrick he's got
Looks
there.
like a Machado.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a small wave board. Maybe,
Hey, by the way, if you're talking about Machado, if you're interested, check out. There's a tour at the moment, the Momentum Generation tour. Amazing movie. It's coming to Newquay. It's all around the country, so definitely check that out. Here we go, Johnny Fryer, opening slash. I think this was his first turn. His first wave. 2 turns. And this was Miles. This was the wave of the heat.
733.
I love the patience he showed. That was he
Yeah.
did really well to connect the dots on this. The right turn. He's not the most radical surfer out there, but he always seems to do the right turn in the right place.
He's
Name
just
that
smooth.
movie.
He just really named the movie. That's North Shore.
Very good. Thank you.
Missed that section maybe. Could have stuck it, but was just looking for a backup wave at that point. And this was the backup wave which came through as was it a 707?
Pretty much a 7-0.
Yeah. So solid surfing. And again, he's a powerfully built lad as well. So young Barnaby, maybe the surprise of this heat, getting through the under-16s, also in the under-18s, and now into the quarterfinals of the Open. I'm calling it. I'm calling it already.
Yeah, that turn, that whitewater rebound.
That was nice. He cut back in. He did cut back in on that wave pretty quick.
So and
this
this was
is-
Johnny's.
this
This
is
was
the
the
section
answer.
you're
Bang,
talking about.
hit that,
Or
come
there,
off, hit
yeah,
that,
Yeah.
and you get yourself a 5. That isn't enough.
No. And I think he knew it when he kicked out. The body language suggests that he knew.
But that's the thing, you know, if he'd had a couple of 5s, and then you paddle into that wave with 2 seconds to go, you're going for it, aren't you? You're
Yeah.
launching at the lip.
But
you get
would
the
you though?
projection.
Would you?
Hell
Because
yeah.
You don't know what everyone
I
else
would.
is
That's when I would lose.
Yeah.
I would always do
Well,
that.
this is the thing.
I'd launch for the lip. Can we see Johnny Fryer's wave again? I mean, it's. I think people sometimes, or we might sometimes get criticised for being a bit too harsh, but you can see that there's a split second. There's a
Of hesitation.
and there's a moment of opportunity. Look,
Yeah.
so if we have a look at this, so he gets it there. That was hittable. I don't know if this was the wave.
Yeah.
No, this
yeah,
was
it
his
was.
first.
This was this.
Yeah, if we come back into that wave earlier, we'll see the.
Maybe that wasn't. Maybe that was his first wave, not his last wave. I think it was just the same wave.
Yeah.
You're trying to trick us here, Henry. We know
Nasty.
we know
Nasty
our
boy.
waves. We know our waves. Okay, yeah, this is the one.
So that there, he could go up and float over that, come down,
He would
hit
have got
that section
speed
again.
off the first section to connect with the second section. And Johnny, if you're watching this, mate, later on in the day, later on tonight,
We do love you.
we
don't
do
get
love
us
you,
wrong.
but I think you'll agree you kind of missed your opportunity there.
And that hurts.
Yeah.
When you're lying at home going, damn it, I had the chance.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a lot of viewers online. Some messages starting to come in through Facebook,
Oh.
Instagram. They're all on there. So Mark Vaughan, if you're watching, this is the kind of surf. Well, Mark is watching. He's saying, "Are you inside?" Yes, it is a bit chilly out there. We were considering paddling out there, but we thought, you know what? we'll
Vaughnie
leave
would
it.
be in board shorts.
40 would
right
be
now.
in board shorts and out there.
Right
He's
now.
strong in these kind of waves. But so in this heat number 2. Hi Vaughnie, good to have you with us from all the way from Wales. So we have got round 1, heat 2, Mark Boyd and Liam Murray Strout. Only 2 surfers, is that correct? So that would suggest that Ryan Riley is not here. I'm surprised they ran the heat. I would think they would just flip a coin for first and second. And
Well, unless he actually tells Dave that he's not a compete, he could be stuck in traffic. He could be getting changed. So you still have to give the guy a chance. He might just turn up late. You know, if he's paid his money, he's got the choice to surf. But yeah, 2-man heat. This will be nice and easy for us to. I imagine Mark and Liam are going to get through. And Ryan Riley, he's a local lad. He works locally in the surf industry. And also very good on a twin fin. So maybe what's that? It's that coffee cup clicking away in the background. If you're wondering what that is, that's Sam's coffee cup that you got to click to open.
hey, this thing's amazing. So this is like this. It's not sponsored or anything. This is a local company called
Clicker cup.
A Short Walk, and they produce something called the R Cup. And the reason it's really cool is that this cup, this skin here, is made from recycled, used coffee cups.
Oh.
So it's the first coffee cup, reused coffee cup, and the clicking is how you keep it closed and open. It's made from recycled coffee cups. So it's a step in the right direction. It's cool that it's a Cornish company called A Short Walk who are doing it. So well done, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome,
saving
awesome
dolphins.
effort.
It's all about saving dolphins and penguins.
Well, it's just a cool thing. I think it's it makes me feel a little bit more righteous when I'm drinking it. Anyway, so that's the end of the heat, I think, or is it the start
That's
of
the
the
start of the next one.
Goodness me.
Or maybe they have cancelled this heat. Yeah, it's the start of the heat. We knew that.
No.
Oh, this is heat
No.
3.
See?
Okay.
So what they've done is they said, look, there's 2 surfs in there. We've got to get through these heats. Let's get them in, and it's fine. There's only 2 surfers in it. Mark Boyd, Liam Murray-Stroud. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, 1 and 2. They'll go through their seeding.
And in the next heat, we have Sam Smart, probably one of the fittest surfers on tour. Here we go.
And also one of the hardest.
We've got Joe Ellery, who's not. He's a young grommet who's a great surfer, but these conditions definitely not in his favour. And then we've got Nick Tisco. Actually,
Do you know what? This would be a good fight. Okay. Okay. Let's have,
right.
let's
Why?
Okay.
Why is this an interesting outside of the water battle? What would happen here?
Right. You got Sam Smart, who's a very handy boxer.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro, kind of an unorthodox style. He stands
Left foot forward.
right foot forward.
Left foot.
Is it?
Right foot. No, you're right.
He is,
right
yeah.
foot
So he's
forward,
southpaw. He stands right foot, but he's got a very unorthodox style of boxing. Pretty sure if you look at his YouTube or his Instagram, that you see him sparring and stuff like that. And we've also got Nick Tisco in the blue, who's a very accomplished jiu-jitsu fighter.
Like UFC kind of thing.
Yeah, he does competitions as well. So put these 2 in a ring. Sam's going to want to stay on his feet, and Nick's going to want to go to the ground.
And go grappling.
Yeah. So
At
this is
level-
basically a rehash of Conor McGregor versus Khabib. One wants to stand up, one
Or
wants to go on the
Floyd
floor.
Mayweather, if you're going to go that way.
The Floyd wouldn't stand a chance in the octagon. Sorry. Send
Oh,
me
right.
hate mail if you want. Yeah, I'm talking about in the octagon. Not
All
the
right,
top
you're
one.
talking about everything's allowed.
Yeah, MMA style.
Okay.
So, but yeah, both very fit. 2 different sports totally, and you got poor old Joe there in the middle playing
he's got-
referee.
He would not last a moment with these 2 boys. But I'm surprised that they're still paddling out. You would think that with a 10-minute paddle out, do you know what, I would probably cheat a little bit and maybe try and get 12-minute paddle out. I'd probably start paddling because no one really would care. I mean, I think everyone would celebrate the fact that you get out the back today.
I think one of the problems these guys have is once they paddle out, if they start off next to the rocks, they're going to drift right through the contest area, and they're going to be in a danger of getting in the way of a surfer.
On a
That's,
day like this?
yeah, it could happen, and then I don't know what would happen. I don't know if you get an interference in. If you're
I
paddling
think-
out, can you have an interference of the heat that's going on?
Like interference carried forward.
Yes.
Like interest.
Yes. Can
Negative
you?
interest. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
because
the
that's.
answer
I
to
mean,
that.
the most of the guys are going to be paddling out to our right, as we're looking on the screen, right next to the
So, yeah,
rocks.
so if you
And they would drift through the contest area. If they paddle out on the left, they're going to end up down towards south and then have to paddle against the rip and the wind to get back in position. So I don't know. Maybe something we need to ask Dave Reed, contest director, head judge Mike Durkin. Is it possible to incur an interference before your
or
heat
is
started?
it just a fine?
Well, this is it. All these questions and more coming up. No ways ridden so far.
If anyone out there's got any questions, do send them in on Facebook. You can, if you know Leo or myself, give us a text or give us a
Tweet.
Instagram message or I'm not really on Twitter, I've got to say.
Oh, give me a tweet then.
All right, tweet Lee. So where would they find? Well, you can find me at Lameroy Surf on Instagram, and you can find Lee.
I am Lee Bartlett Shapes. Here we go. This is Nick Tisco. So 2 goofy foots in this heat. Sam's goofy foot as well.
Oh,
Nice
we
little
connected
snap
with
there.
that.
And up and down again.
Solid.
Little 2 for 1 there for Nick. And a little bonus section.
So that's got to go up into the 6s.
Do you know what? I think he's going to get through this heat already. Switches to his forehand and then up. Oh, a little nosedive there.
Do you know what I find interesting?
Go for it.
So Nick Tisco, really good fighter, right? So that would suggest he's super solid on his feet. Sam Smart, really good fighter. Again, physically, incredibly literate, incredible physical literacy, if you like. Both of them have got quite an unorthodox surfing style where they don't look as solid on their feet as, say, somebody like Jay Quinn, who isn't a fighter to my knowledge.
No.
You know what I mean? So they
He's a
don't
very
seem
good golfer, though.
Is he?
Yes, he's a very good golfer. So maybe that comes
Have
in.
you been playing a bit?
Do you know what? I've played once this year.
How'd you
And we played at Trelawney. We had a surf and turf, the toy factory. So we had one day on the golf course and then one day surfing down here, or the afternoon surfing heats down here at Fistral.
Did you win that?
I came third after not surfing for months and not playing golf for 3 years. I shot off.
Who won it?
Luke Dillon.
Did he? Does he
Yes.
play golf?
Yeah, he's a good golfer.
Is he?
Yeah. A lot of downtime for these boys between contests.
So where do you think Nick's wave is going to come in? I think it's high fives, low
I
sixes.
think 5 is going to be a pretty solid score. I was going to say about the fitness factor is being physically fit in general doesn't necessarily mean you're physically fit as a surfer. Totally different muscles. Because I always remember I was considered like super fit. And I wasn't.
Not by me. No,
No,
you
but
were. You're an animal.
Well, no, this is it. This is people's perception of my fitness. I wasn't I'd only surf maybe an hour a day, and I'd never surf a day before a contest. That was one of my strategies, to be fresh for a contest. So I'd never oversurf, and people that didn't look like me physically could outpaddle me.
Yeah, but you looked like what the Australians call it, a franger full of walnuts, like a the French call it preservatif, basically a condom full of walnuts,
Right. Okay.
like just lumps and bumps everywhere, like
yeah.
muscles. I mean,
Yeah, but
I never had that.
yeah,
I never had that. I never ran that risk.
but for my using that to my advantage, although I knew people could outpaddle me quite easily, I would never show that.
You'd get your top off and flex.
And people, yeah, and you kind of it's a
Intimidating.
mental game, isn't it? You can kind of win heats before you paddle out. You know, you go.
I love
You know
the
what you
way-
mean? You go.
I love the way you would use your six pack as a weapon.
Well, you would
What
though,
are you?
wouldn't you? If you someone's going to get their colour.
You sound like Arnie Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron.
No, but it's a mental game before you paddle out. So, in my defence, I used to like go and get my rash vest with my wetsuit halfway down, just because I might be competing against someone, and they're going to see me, who's kept pretty fit, and go,
Bartlett
I'm not going to
Chippendale
out
model."
paddle him, even though my paddling wasn't particularly strong. It's just a mental game before you paddle out.
Now you
it's
tell
the
me.
art of war.
I see.
That's
I
all
see.
it was. That's all I'm saying.
So the next time we paddle out for a heat, I'll keep my top
Wait,
half
it's-
hidden.
I'm not competing anymore, so there we go, 4.0. Okay.
See, so that's low. I thought that was low.
Maybe
see
no
that one again?
Maybe no
Is that
outside
possible?
manoeuvres. Didn't have that open face. It was kind of whitewater cutback.
if we think back to Miles' 7, I mean, there's 7.
Was it 3 points better?
3 points better, third better, and more. Let's have a look at this. Wave-wise, not too
Not out.
small,
He's not out the back.
but he's already done a turn.
Oh, that was his.
That
that was his
connected.
takeoff.
That connected.
And then he got this little reform through the inside.
I mean, not quite as pretty, not quite as open.
but then scores mean nothing. It's relative to the heat. You know, you can't judge that wave off the heat before because conditions have changed. You have to take every heat as its own example of its existence. If you know what I
I
mean.
think the judges were being very doit.
And
I
it's
thought,
also tricky. The first wave of a heat, that does set the pace, you know, for the whole thing. Is that the generators going on? That is the generators going
it's
on.
in my
Okay.
tummy,
Not
I'm
sure
a
if
bit
you can hear
hungry.
that through the ambient.
so Sam
speaker we've
Smart
got.
looking here. Look, he's trying to position himself, trying to get out into the open phase. Can he get a little chip shot in? That means the white water pushes him in. There's just a little lump that doesn't allow him
Yeah.
to get in there. He's going to be getting frustrated. Surely he's not going to get third in a two-man heat.
Look at that. And he comes over the top of that wave and sees this wave behind just crash down in front of him. And did he make it through there? And Sam actually ranked number 7 in the Open at the moment. So he could improve because we do have a couple of surfers above him not competing. Patrick Landon Dark, as I keep saying, isn't here. I'm not sure where Patrick is. I'm not sure if he's in California. Maybe someone could let us know where Patrick is. He is in California. Producer Biff saying yes. Do you know that for a fact, or just he doesn't know that for a fact? He's just nodding his head. Okay, so he could be in California. He could be in Wales. Who knows? 10 minutes remaining. One wave surfed at the moment. Not even seen sight nor sound of our surfer in yellow, poor Joe Ellery there. kind of lost at sea, and I thought things were going to get easier as the
So I'm
tide
not sure if
comes
Joe
in.
Ellery's even out there.
Yeah.
So have a little peek out the
And
window.
a cheeky little window peek.
I can't see him anywhere, but that is because it's partially dark. The generators have kicked in, you're right.
Yeah.
The lights are starting to come on. So right by the shore break, what we might have to say, what the organisers of the event might have to say is, look, you're not allowed out the back, full stop. We're not going to score out the back. You can only surf as far as the lights reach.
Well, you can
There's
only
a natural.
you can only score what they can see. That's,
So someone
you know,
might get 3
yeah.
turns and then come into the lit
Yeah.
area.
I mean, I would. I said I was out. Every wave
Did
was
you
out
not
the
see
back.
that?
Yeah.
I got a stand-up barrel. Oh, there's somebody out there.
That was white, I think. Or it could be white.
So we've got Joe Pilkington on the line. He's watching us. He's saying it looks wild out there. It certainly
wild.
does.
Absolutely livid.
Joe is the UK head for Nixon Watches. So it's
Ah.
great to have him. He's cool. He looks after me sometimes. It's really cool actually. To
Well,
have.
I must thank him actually for the Nixon Weird that we did, and got an inscribed watch of my very own. So,
Do you know
yeah,
what?
Thank you to
It's
Nixon for that.
funny
That
you
was
should
amazing.
say that. You check this out. I don't know if you can see this. So everyone who took part in the Nixon Weird. Well, should we explain the Nixon Weird first? Look at that left. All right, so here we go. Let's see if you can see that. See that? So that was the Nixon Weird. So that was mine. It's got my little logo on it and the Weird. Cool little watch. But explain to the viewers what it was.
Well, it was kind of like they got 6 shapers to hand shape 6 different design boards
And they-
in a 2-hour slot from
So
scratch.
hand shape.
Yeah, it's like old school kind of stuff, and each shaper would pick a design out of a hat. There was a finless, there was a thruster, twin fin, single fin. There was a channel bottom, and there was like an under 4'10", asymmetric, and an under 4'10". And we all picked a shape, and we all got to shape that for 2 hours.
You got the channel bottom, didn't you? You made a beautiful
yeah.
6-shooter.
Yeah, I did a channel bottom with chimed rails, a little beak nose, and then we got to surf them in Sennen a couple of months later after the end of the season, like in September, wasn't it? Last September.
Yeah. It was a fun event. I
Yeah.
loved it. It was so cool.
And we all got a watch like Sam's there with our own design inscribed in the back, which was kind of really cool and very generous of Nixon to do that.
But it was just, do you know what, it was a really nice event to be part of. And we had everyone, like Jace Robinson was there, Stokesy.
Stokesy, yeah,
everyone.
testing our
Oh,
balls.
here we go.
Hey.
He's putting a score on the board. We've got Sam Smart. Let's see if he can take some of that power, the boxing power. So he's riding a board with a carbon stringer down it.
Could be epoxy. And he's just going to be happy that he's caught away. This has got a nice little reform coming through. Cracks it off the top on this backhand, and then a little tweaked foam climb.
Would you like to see him widen his stance a bit?
I'm not going to tell him.
Why not?
I think he's surfing fine. You're doing great, Sam. I'm not critiquing your surfing at all.
You're just scared of his right hook.
I am scared of his right hook, his left hook, his right cross, his left jab.
All right. So if Nix was a 4, I would say that Nix was almost 2 points better, but I think that's going to come in at 3.5.
I was going to go 3.35, just because he got that reform and a nice closeout
Look
re-entry
at that
there.
left out the back. Look
It's
at that thing. You would be
so easy.
swooping out there, wouldn't you, Lee?
It's so easy to
You'd have
mind
done
surf.
3 huge carves, and you'd come into this section. I could see you do a little jab
I've
there.
never lost a heat mind surfing. I'll tell you that right now.
I lose all of mine when I mind surf.
Do you know what? Today, on a day like today, I wouldn't mind surf getting out the back. I'd still be on the inside duck diving.
You know you're in trouble when you're looking out to sea and you can't pick a wave while you're sitting. Well, there he
Sam
is.
doing the run around.
So
He's
that
even
is
got
a
his name
couple.
on the back. Smart.
There he
Maybe-
is. He's having a little bit of banter with Nick.
With Nick, I think Nick's just said that wave or an interference or something, just as a joke, which is exactly what we want to hear once you've been paddling for 20 minutes. Is someone having a joke? But Sam taking it very lightheartedly. Where's Joe Ellery? Come on, young Joe. Where are you, son? What colour's that? Just being covered up. That's blue. That's Nick. So could be a 2-horse race, maybe. Not sure if you could see Joe through the window there.
I didn't see him. I didn't see any sign of
Can
him.
see anyone? I think it's going to be. Oh, that sounded like it was just under a 3, 2.83, I believe Nick just said. So that's probably why Sam showing a little bit of disgust at the score. 2.83. Doesn't matter. He's in second place with 6 minutes to go. This is
And
just
the light is fading, so on your screens it still looks relatively doable, but looking out the window, Goodness me, it's starting to get interesting.
And you know, mentally as well, in the daylight, you can kind of see the waves coming that you've got to duck dive. So you can get ready to think, right, I've got another 4 or 5 duck dives. When it's dark, this is just going to be like
Relentless.
a treadmill of white water. You're not going to see an outback. You're just gonna, this is never ending.
An aquatic treadmill of doom.
Yeah. And it really is going to be surfers that play the smart game. I mean, coming up in the next heat, we do have our ranked #1 surfer at the moment, Ruben Ash, which is, it's his to lose, basically.
He's got to be careful here
He has
because
to be-
Sam Harewood can surf, Luke Stone can surf.
It's going to be a tricky one. Here we go. Nick's going to, well, maybe he's hoping
Come
it's
to
going
the beach and
reform.
cry.
I mean, he's kind of drifted down towards the middle of the beach, so maybe he's thinking I need to get back up in the corner.
I would have stood up. He's only had one wave. Wouldn't you stand up?
Yep, maybe now. Nope.
But you know what I mean? Like he could have done a couple of turns, got
Yeah.
a 2. Like a 1.5. At
I
least it adds to his scoreline.
He's going to get his breath back. He's going to run past
Why
the
didn't he
speakers.
stand up?
And Nick's going to tell him he's in the lead. Nick Williams on
Why
the...
didn't he stand up?
Oh,
See, so what difference does it make if he comes first or second? They're both through. That doesn't matter, does it?
but he doesn't know that. And
No,
also,
does it matter?
Well, it kind of does because of the seeding into the next round.
So if we explain that, hold on, who's that? Ah, so that's in the next heat. That is
Sam
White.
Harewood.
Sam Harewood out the back
Yeah.
already. But look, if he'd stood up and got himself a 2 or a 1.5, suddenly he's on 6.5, and then Sam needs, he needs a proper wave.
I think Sam needs some oxygen. He's just taking a break, just cooling down. Even duck dives like that take it out of you over a course of a 30-minute paddle.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
because you haven't got that rhythmic breathing pattern. Do you know what I used to do when I was paddling? I don't know if other surfers do this. I used to paddle in with my right arm, out with my left.
What do you
And the
mean?
faster I paddle, the faster I breathe. And then that would kind of give me some kind of rhythmic
Oh,
breathing.
you breathe.
Yeah.
So,
So be,
hold on, no.
and the faster you paddle, the faster you breathe. The slower you paddle, the slower you breathe. As a
Do that
common
again,
rule.
show me.
So like breathing in with my right.
Can you do the breathing?
Oh. There's a loop for you. Thank you, Henry.
I couldn't.
Can't believe I just did that.
No,
You can't even do it.
Nah,
So you used to just paddle and breathe randomly.
no, I just hyperventilate for 25 minutes.
That's how I found it. On a day like today, it's a aerobic exercise. It's an aerobic exercise.
Do you know what would be interesting is if you had some
A heart monitor.
prime heart monitors, or you had some prime athletes. Here we go. Look, can you get
Sam.
anything? Here we go. He's got a little bit of speed out that. Is it going to give him a section?
You know what? He's being lit up by
Huh?
the lights as
Yeah.
well. He's kind of being lit up from the front.
Do you know what? Right, that might be. So what does he need? A 1.18 to get into the lead, right? If he gets into the lead, and let's say in the next heat, Ruben Ash wins, right?
Yep.
Now, in the next round, in the quarterfinals,
Yep.
you might avoid a Ruben Ash, if you like, by winning this heat, because they tend to you tend to have 2 winners and 2 second places in
Yeah.
the heat, right? So by winning, you might avoid him.
No, not how I see the progression. In quarterfinal number 1, you're going to have the winner of 1, the winner of 2, the second in 3, the second in 4.
Okay.
So he needs to come second to avoid saying Ruben wins.
Okay.
Because in heat number 2, you'll have the winner of 4, the winner of 3, second of 2, second of 1.
So you're saying actually because
if he
heat
stays
2,
second,
because
he's
we
not going to
didn't
meet
have
Ruben.
because we didn't have a full heat in heat 2, it
Yeah.
might be a better bet to get second in this heat.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Or just
Nick,
to
there we go.
avoid-
Look, 2.383.
No, he's blown it then. He's got Ruben in the next heat. If Ruben wins his heat, if it goes through as on paper, but he's not going to know that. He wouldn't have worked that out beforehand, I don't think.
I think we bet. Well, I
I mean,
didn't
maybe
get there.
maybe we should tell him that he should have come second to avoid
Stop! Take that wave back. Go
meeting
back.
the number 1 ranked surfer in the country. Like, well done, Sam. You're going up against Ruben.
Well, hey,
Maybe
in these conditions,
he might not be.
you never know. So in the next heat, we've got Ruben Ash, Sam Harewood, and Luke Stone.
Actually, is that 4-man heat? No, we've got no 4-man heats. Our first heat was a 4-man heat, and that was the only one in this round. This round of the Open.
And you've got a feel for Johnny Fryer, one of the best surfers in this country. And we think he got knocked out. We didn't see the final score.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do we have the results from the last heat?
I already penciled in Barnaby and Miles. although that's not official. We have actually no official rulings over the event. So 30 seconds. I just want to know if young Joe Eloy was out there or if he was.
I don't think he was.
Yeah,
And I think,
they're just making these
he
boys
is,
surf.
he is actually, I think he's 13.
Right, okay.
13. No. He might be 14 or 15.
Nick's just looking over his shoulder, just thinking how long of this torture is left. Not long now, Nick. And
Look at that. You can see the light starting to pick up the white water there, but out the back, there's definitely a light shadow, isn't there? You can see.
look at the wind whipping up from the east there.
Frightening, and that is the end of the heat.
So coming up.
Couple of nice waves to look at there.
Yeah, I think you got a recap coming. Well, a couple of nice, 2 waves. We got a recap of 2 waves. 1 wave from blue, 1 wave from white. So coming up in heat number 4, Ruben Ash is going to be in the red, Sam Harwood will be in the white, and yellow will be Luke Stone. Here's a recap. This shouldn't take long.
Blink and you will miss it. Here we go.
4.0 across the board, which we kind of thought was underscored at the time.
I would have gone 5 with that, you know,
Yeah.
just to create a little bit of distance. I think the fact that, there was.
And do you know what? I think Nick is on an epoxy board. I think I shaped in that one.
That's why he was bogging rails.
Yeah, that's why he came second.
There we go. Look at that, working it.
He did get a bonus on his backhand though.
Little hit there, and it just, like you said, it stood up. Nice little. That's kind of that line that we would have liked to have seen Miles Lee Hargreaves take on his cutback. You know that.
But the wave was 3 times bigger.
It was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and this was the second wave that got Sam through to first place. I mean, Sam and Nick are going to progress regardless.
So congratulations, gentlemen. They are through into the quarter-finals. And so in the next heat, we've got in the yellow Luke Stone, Sam Harewood, and Ruben Ash in the red. And that looks like something nightmares are made of.
Do you know what? I was just thinking of the film The Perfect Storm.
It feels a bit like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, someone's in front of the camera there. But now the waves are starting being lit up by our spotlights here on the beach, so it gives it a kind of a weird,
surreal
yeah.
Literally, it is the twilight zone that we're in right now.
And like we were saying earlier, this is the worst stage of light for a surfer because
you think there's enough.
Yeah, you lose shadows, and it looks like the wind's maybe gone a little bit more northeast, like really whipping from right to left. Yeah,
cross shore. It's just straight cross shore.
Or maybe it's just kind of being cavitated by the headland, the topography of the landscape to the north side of Fistral.
I mean, there's a huge building here on the headland as well, the Headland Hotel, so that can actually have an impact on local wind conditions.
Yeah, and the time is. Time is it?
6:30, so we're half an hour from high tide.
Got about an hour, not even that, have we?
So out the back, you can see in the blue. No, there is no blue.
There is no blue. That's Luke paddling. At the back, you can just see red right in the right-hand corner of our screen there, just popped over the side of that wave. There's red and white sat next to each other, safety in numbers.
And that sounded like the start of the heat, so here we go, 20 minutes. And what was interesting is in Heat 1, the official result was Miles Lee Hargreaves with a 14.4 in first, so he dominated that. That was the best combination of waves we've seen so far today. Here we go, in the red, having a look, just getting swallowed by the white water, decides not to go. That was Ruben Ash. So we had Miles Lee Hargreaves in heat number 1, winning with a 14.40. In second, Barnaby Cox with a 9.7, and then Johnny Fryer with an 8.16, which would have won him any other subsequent heat. So he will be very frustrated and quite disappointed that he got the highest losing score of any heat so far. Here we go, out the back. This is Ruben Ash. Let's see. Nice sweeping turn. Can he get another hit? He climbs up again, hits the white water, throws the tail. That was a nice turn.
Good.
He's looking sharp. And so that has to go into the sixes, doesn't it, do you think?
His heat surfing, his heat strategy this year has been pretty much second to none, which is why he's obviously the #1 coming into this event. But he is sharp. Like you said, he's so sharp on his backhand has looked more devastating. His forehand, he's got that aerial attack, and especially with this wind blowing into his face when he's on his forehand. Maybe tricky at night to see the launch pads for the goofy foots surfing into the wind. But his backhand, he wins Scotland on his backhand. He won Wales on his backhand pretty much. Surface Pro, he came third, I believe, think Jay Quinn won the Open in the back in June. Luke Dillon second, and then Ruben, and then Jobe Harris. But he's made 4 finals in 4 events. So he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
And that's a criticism that was levelled at Ruben, that he had an air game. Some parts of his surfing let him down a bit, his sort of open face turns. And then also his mindset and his consistency in heats. And he was always going to be a threat when he put that all together. And I think this year, like you say, everything seems to have clicked, and he's really, really dangerous and almost untouchable.
In any kind of condition as well.
Oh, that was an interesting shot, actually, from...
nice little wide angle there.
And
Here we go. Who's this? That's Nick Tisco there.
Saying, I got through, I got second.
And it looks like it's raining. It is raining as well. We're so lucky to be up here in the lifeguard building. But you can see how high the tide is.
It's right under there, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's still 30 minutes as well till high tide. So I'm not sure if it's going to come in much further. But that rain squall out the back.
Wow, and that's probably what created that wind.
Yeah.
This sudden sort of front.
It does seem to happen. All around the world, wherever you are in the world, there's always like a strong build-up of wind. Then it rains, and then the wind dies a little bit. Although I don't think it's going to die that much after this rain squall pushes through.
Hey, so you were saying, or we know, that if Ruben Ash loses in the first round, it opens it up for Miles Lee Hargreaves and
Luke and Jay.
If he gets through, it's only Jay and...
Yeah, Jay and Luke, maybe.
So really, really exciting. So it's really, really exciting to be here for the Smart Parking Night Surf, brought to you by the UK Pro Surf Association. And do you know what would be really cool if we could get one of the competitors up here to come and have a chat to tell us what it's like out there as we see Up and Riding.
This is
Sam Harewood.
Okay, he's going to change tactics and go to his forehand.
I'm surprised he came into that direction. I would have carried on down the left. Yeah, down the left of the screen. I would have carried on the right-hander.
On his backhand, though, he'd be looking away from the lights. And this is something we did touch on earlier on, and we said we'd talk about it once it's got dark.
And hey, did we say that Ruben we thought was in the sixes?
No.
Missed out by one digit.
Didn't actually. I don't think I gave a score. I was totally oblivious.
Mind surfing. So
yeah,
so
I think we were just talking about how sharp his surfing was.
But so yeah, a 6.67. I think that was well deserved. And it's that point of difference. There was a nice carve, but interestingly, that turn he did where he blew the fins out.
Yeah.
Really critical. Quite dangerous in these lumpy big contests. Look at that. It looks like outside Uluwatu there. Those two lefts for a moment, for a screen grab you could have got. We might get a bit of a sunset, but. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, off screen, unfortunately. It's a little bit too far to the west. So here we go, paddling and paddling. I'm just interested to see just how much light these guys are going to get once it's fully dark.
Where it looks like where that surf is paddling out, I think it'll get to there. I think
just where he just
there, that little right-hander.
Yeah,
I think that'll be about the limit.
Yeah.
Of where you'll be able to. So this ambient light we still have is just enough. And so Sam Harewood at 3.33. Would be nice if Ruben had got a 6.66 just for synchronicity and balance.
What for those OCE
But the judges
people?
don't look at things like that, do they? Why can't they just give us 6.66?
They did. They did for Nick Williams up at the Commentators' Cup.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Well, why would you?
Only you're not still bitter about that. As we see Up and Ride, that looked like surfer in yellow. That was Luke Stone having a look at that one.
First wave for Luke, possibly. Just see all 3 surfers now duck diving. So I think we're going to have Sam Smart. So we've just seen Sam, and he's been our roving reporter on the UK Pro Tour this year. He's going to come up and have a chat with us so he can give us first-hand knowledge of the difficulty of listening to Nick, seeing the timing disc, hearing the start-finish hooter, and ask him just how many duck dives he thinks he did in 30 minutes. I think that's going to be a good question for him. And whether his boxing training helps with surfing. That's going to be another one. There we go. Yellow paddling, head down again, just keeping that.
But you see, there's no real urgency there. I would like to see him really scratch and paddle to get out there with a bit more You know, you've got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Put your back into it. Look at this. I mean, what is that?
But
He
you
looks half asleep.
You kind of burn out though.
What do you mean burn out? He's been in the water for 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, but slow and steady wins the race.
Not today, it doesn't. Slow and steady keeps you in the impact zone. I tell all my pupils, oi, get out the impact zone. Paddle. Get your head down and paddle
But
properly.
then it's that mental side of things.
What do you mean mental side?
You're
You-
paddling thinking there is no outback. Why am I rushing to get to a place that doesn't exist?
Because you've got 20 minutes in a heat and you're trying to get 2 decent waves.
Yeah, but you're paddling to a place that doesn't exist. Why are you in a rush to get there?
But the place does exist. It's further out than that. It doesn't have to be all the way out the back.
No, but yeah, I kind of understand what you mean.
What?
But
It's not a question.
Is
It's
it-
a fact.
it's kind of a fact. But again, it took 10 minutes for these boys to get out back, and now they can't get out back again. So they need a backup score. I mean, Ruben took off on a 1.5. Ah, here we go, yellow on the inside there. Luke, possibly his first wave. I thought he'd had a wave earlier, but maybe
I
not.
thought you got a little something. I saw him get a little tail end on the left.
Right. But I can hear Nick. I wonder if the guys can actually. I still don't think the guys can hear what Nick's saying from the beach commentary. I still
Well,
think
the
the
wind,
wind is so.
it looks like it's whipping the tops off them slightly out
Maybe,
to sea.
yeah.
There's maybe if you had a speaker
bank
on the headland.
on the rocks. Yeah, like I mean there are lights up there, so maybe
There he
there's
goes,
a
look at
tannoy
that.
system up there as well.
Go, go, go.
So Luke's going to do the run around. He's going to go right up to the rocks in the corner. That's going to be scary as well. Paddling out next to the rocks in the dark.
Super fun.
Yeah, not what I call fun. Not anymore. 11.5 minutes remaining. 2 waves ridden for red, 1 wave for white. Still waiting for wave of yellow. And I wonder what the other guys coming up. In the next heat we've got Jay Quinn, Lewis Handley and Maximilian Hudson. So Max Hudson there going to be in the yellow.
I'm not sure if Mac's around. Max,
What could they learn from this heat?
to paddle more?
Like your coaching is just get out back. That's it.
Just bloody paddle.
Head down, paddle. I mean, it looks like there's a bit of clear water now for Ruben.
Yeah. Ah, we've got the man of the hour.
Do you know what? I'm going to give up my seat because
Oh no, let him come in.
this man
Let's-
needs to.
Come on, slide. No, stay with us. Stay with us.
Oh, we're going to
Let's
squeeze
all
up.
go.
I was going to take that chance to eat some food. That was all.
Yeah.
What do you
We've been
think?
watching you intently. Right, so we've just got
Nice
Sam
round.
Smart who's just come into the booth. You look flustered, dude.
Yeah, you look warm.
All right.
Right. So how did it go, Sam?
We will be in a sec.
will
Let's
be.
see if we can line this bad boy up.
Well done, mate.
All right.
Congratulations on
Hold
a,
on,
on, a- on a
should we
heat
go-
win.
Heat win, first one of the year.
Yeah, but we've got some bad news as well. We'll hold on. Should we? Oh, we're almost. Which way? Should we shuffle this way a bit? Come this way.
Towards you.
Come this way.
What's the bad news?
Ibby. Well, the bad news is you did get through. Well done. Congratulations.
yeah.
We think, but we don't know the progression.
Yeah,
But
working out
by
the progression roughly.
by getting that little backup wave at the end there, you know that little left you got?
Yeah.
Well, that put you into the lead. Well done. Nice
Yeah.
heat victory.
Yeah.
Do you worry about who you get in your next heat or not? You just want to get through.
Don't worry about it, but I do check because you can almost know for sure if you're going to get through your first heat or not.
So it
I will
looks-
have a look. For me, personally speaking,
Yeah.
So do you know you've
yeah.
got the next heat at the moment?
probably Jay Quinn or someone like that, Ruben.
Well, no, it's probably going to be Ruben.
Yeah, we think you
Yeah.
got Ruben.
But
So it'd have been
either
better
way, it doesn't
strategically
matter.
to come second, would it?
Yeah, possibly.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
Well, we didn't know. I still don't know. We still haven't worked it out properly. But
yeah.
but so how was it out there? We want to know because
All right, so-
you were there in twilight.
Yeah. So first off, you're looking to whether you're going to go out the back and try and get a score out the back.
Because you got a 10-minute paddle out previous. to
Yeah,
the
you
heat.
have. So yeah, but still, if you're getting a wave out the back, you're going to get like a 4, 5, 6, the highest scores. That's how the judges are going to score it. If you get reforms on the inside, they're probably going to cap them at about 4 or 5, unless you do something really good.
We've seen a cap at more or less 4 points.
4 points is
There you go.
Yeah.
So I've always sort of known that when it can, because fish will get a lot of swell. It's quite often like that. So and then when you've thought about that, you think, well, can I even get out back?
Is
It's
it that
really
bad?
hard paddle out. Yeah.
Is it the size or is it the frequency of the wave where you can't get a rhythm going?
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
It's not necessarily the size of the waves. Obviously, we've surfed a lot bigger waves than that, but it's just non-stop paddling. And on top of that, you're like freaking out. You know, you're boiling and you're panicky. You're not relaxed. It's
Yeah.
difficult to be relaxed. while
How
you're duck
thick was your
diving.
suit?
3 mil.
Is
and you
it?
were cooking
Yeah.
in a
3
3
mil
still
no
hot.
boots. I was baking. Yeah, daddy belly.
Well, we were talking about fitness. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, through the boxing, your
Yeah.
fitness is quite high. Does that
Yeah.
cross over into surfing, or is it different
No.
muscle?
Yeah, when I was boxing, I was really stiff. My surfing, I'm very hunched over.
Right.
You can see it in my surfing, I'm quite hunched, but that comes from being like that all the time. And people say, "Oh, it's so good, crossover sport." Yeah, if you yoga
right
every day,
sports, yeah.
as long as you're stretching, which I never did. I was always just boxing and boxing. Surfing's like what I like doing, but boxing is more my natural thing. You know, I'm a really good natural boxer. I could not train for 2 weeks and go box and just be really good.
Yeah.
And there's with surfing, I can't do that. I have to be surfing all the time. But there are surfers out
Can
there
we-
who don't surf for ages.
Can we just cut to the action, and we'll keep talking. We'll keep our audio. I just don't want to miss any waves in
waves.
this
You don't want
heat.
to miss the waves.
So,
So you do get people who don't go surfing and then do go surfing and they're really good, like Jay and
Yeah.
Ruben.
Yeah.
But I thought, just one little observation, it looks like your stance is relatively narrow. Do you think that's from boxing as well? As we see, Luke Stone, he doesn't need much to get through. He's had a 2.73, a little float. He comes it through into the lights on the inside. Can he finish?
been busy.
Clear footage, isn't it?
Oh, it's
This
Considering
is
lovely.
super
considering
close
it's
now.
dark.
The tide has come right in.
So he only needs a. Oh, we've
Oh,
got.
we got-
Hello, Nick's. Oh, he's in
He's
and
gone,
gone.
in and gone.
But that is a crucial wave.
Yeah.
That will be enough to put him up into
Second place.
into second. So it's going to be a tight heat, and there's only 7 minutes to go.
It's really weird. When you're paddling for a wave, you see all the light on the foam in front of you. Every
Lit
single
up from the-
contour. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so strange. Paddling out, you don't see much.
Were you and Nick talking to each other? Did you see each other at all in the entire?
No,
Tesco.
only when we crossed over.
Right, that was it. That's the only
All right,
time.
can you solve this? Have you ever sparred with Nick?
No, but I've never sparred with him at all. He wants to, but he does
Jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu, yeah, and I do.
Right, straight up
Punching.
fight. Right here, Nick comes in here. He's got beef. You were hassling him. He comes in here, throws his toys out the pram, and goes, "Come on, then, Sam. Let's have it."
Yeah.
Who wins?
On the ground, him.
Yeah.
Standing up,
Standing up,
me.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Ruben.
Oh.
Ruben Ash doesn't want to lose out, so
I can
nice
see an air
slash.
coming. He hasn't done one yet. And Ruben isn't wearing a cap. He normally looks after his ears. He's got earplugs. Nice finish.
Oh,
Was your board epoxy?
yes.
Thought it
Yeah,
was.
It's a
Yeah.
Tomo, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so you see the carbon. Did you think that helped or hindered in any way in the conditions?
Uh,
Or did you...
I did think about this before I went out. I thought, should I take, with the
A normal
wind
TU?
and everything? But I thought I've just been surfing it for quite a while now. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Do you
No
know-
point making any changes.
And,
last
and
minute.
that addresses the 2 points we had. 1 point was actually bumpy waves, lots of power in the waves, lots of speed. You don't need the epoxy, and it might be quite chattery.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is you want to be on something that you feel comfortable with. The
Exactly.
wetsuit you're comfortable with, the board
Yeah.
you're comfortable with. So I guess you were almost caught in two minds.
That's
Do I
right.
go with comfort and what I know, or do I try and adapt to the conditions and
Yeah.
ride something I might not be so familiar with?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think you just, as long as you're, if you've, the confidence comes with experience of doing something a lot. So if you've been riding a board for a long time, it's going to give you that little bit more confidence out there, rather than going on something completely different. That's just
Well,
going to give you
that's
mind
another
games.
mind thing, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're already panicking about this heat, you're then don't want to be panicking, have I got the right board
Exactly. God.
as well? Yeah.
You just got to relax and go and get the best wave in you. You ask some guys, what's your strategy? They'll say, just get the best wave. And then other people are just like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get out there. Well, I don't know if I'm on the right board. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be
But
warm
you don't need
enough.
all that.
Hey, do you know what though? Looking at this, both Lee and I have struggled to pick the right wave.
Mind surfing, this is.
We
What
can't
you
even pick him.
boys-
We can't even pick him now.
What would you ride out there, Sam Lamoureux?
I would probably take a Kawasaki jet ski, and
Yeah.
do you know what, I would. It depends on right now. Suddenly, with the lights as they are, out the back is taken out of the game. You're not going out the back anymore. For me, in these conditions with these lights, I'm halfway out. So suddenly, I would ride a normal, medium to small wave board because I'm surfing head-high waves. An hour ago, I would be. I was saying with Lee, I am out the back. I want a 6 to 8 foot wave, and I want to do a proper turn. So I would be on a 6.2 or probably 6.2, standard, slight step up, out the back hunting for
Yeah.
proper waves.
Like Miles' heat.
Yeah,
Like
The
Miles'
first
heat.
wave of this
God.
round.
he
and-
ripped
and
it
but-
up,
Pair of
didn't
sevens.
So I would ride a different board now than I would an hour ago
he?
because
Are
of
you
the
boys
lights.
going to do any competitions this year or next
But
year?
we were tempted to do this,
I think
maybe.
you both
I think
still great
Commentators Cup
surfers.
is on for next year, maybe, if we go back to
that would be
Snowdonia. Or
good.
We should get that on.
Yeah, that would be fun.
What would be
it
fun?
could be
I
a
mean-
vacant title as well, because Nick's,
Yeah.
Nick's retired. remember? Nick's-
Is he?
Yeah, he's
Retiring?
retired. Yeah.
So you guys got your ass handed to you on a plate
He's
by,
got a-
by
Did, mate.
Nick.
Nick's
Afraid we
taking
did.
time out to grow his teeth back. And
Savage. So Ruben's wave just then a 5.5, and I think the judges definitely took into account that it was a smaller wave than his
Yeah.
open ride. But still, nobody's touching him.
How
in
good
this
has Ruben
heat.
been surfing this year? You've entered most events.
Yeah, he's just got a good rhythm, good flow. He's just confident in what he does, natural, and just relaxed. And he's so relaxed, and everything just flows for him.
And he's in a very commanding position, so by getting through this heat, he's pretty much eliminated Milesly Hargreaves and Luke
We
Dillon
believe Luke.
from the title
Yeah,
conversation.
It's a two-horse race now between him and Jay.
And Jay's coming up in the next heat. What do you think of Jay surfing?
He's another one of them ones. You know, I was saying about people that don't surf for a couple of weeks and then get in and they're just still amazing. He's one of them lucky few that has that natural ability.
Well, he hurt his leg very early on in the year. I remember
Achilles.
at the Surface Pro.
Yeah.
He hadn't surfed for weeks because
Yeah.
I think he either hurt his leg or his ankle or his Achilles, some
Yeah.
kind of appendage on his lower half anyway.
Yeah.
And he said he hadn't surfed, and he comes along and he takes it out.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's one of them, and he's like that in his persona. He's just super chilled. Hey. Have you noticed that people who are relaxed, generally relaxed with their surfing, then you get people who are a little bit more sort of aggressive. You can see it in their style.
Probably make
when
good
they surf.
pilots.
Have you noticed that?
Or air traffic controllers or something like that.
But I think what does happen is that really good surfers seem to simplify their movements. They seem to simplify everything, and it buys them more time on a wave, and
Yeah.
it allows them to put their body in the right body position
Yeah.
for the next turn.
So they're not overextended.
They're
or
not overextended. They're not having to
underaggressed,
correct. They're not having to throw themselves out of balance in
Yeah.
order to get into the sort of setup position.
It's
If you like.
economy of movement.
Absolute economy.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolute economy. And it's probably the same with boxing.
I was going to say
Yeah.
that probably
Yeah.
translates to any physical
Yeah.
sport.
So as you follow through the punch, or as you end up in one body position,
Yeah.
and then that flows into the next, whether it's a defensive position or
Yeah.
another.
Having that composure
Yeah.
allows you to block shots easier, anticipate shots
Okay.
easier, and let shots go easier if you're
Well,
relaxed and in your stance.
Like Bruce Lee once said, you can't think and hit at the same time.
No, exactly.
And it's the same in surfing.
Yeah.
Hold on, say that again.
You can't think and hit at the same time.
So you,
Just let it go.
all the thought is in the setup.
Instinct.
It's-
instinct.
yes.
The
It's more
impact, the
instinctive.
It's
impact
reactional.
is the
Yeah.
impact is the end result. As we see, this is important. So this is Luke Stone.
We need to get our thinking heads on now. We need to force something. Maybe a
Look
high.
at their surnames. Ashwood Stone.
Ashwood Stone.
It's very good. It's like it's all we need is water in there, isn't it? Lake.
Talk about
Ricky Lake.
oversimplifying stuff. This is how it comes to RSL. What's that stand for?
That's a Royal Surf Lifesaving Association. That's where that's where all the British backpackers go to Australia and get really drunk
Right.
and act inappropriately. So with 25 seconds to go, Ruben's got a very commanding lead in this. Sam Harewood probably safe. We didn't see the first part of Luke's wave, but you'd have to say that it's probably Ruben and Sam going through. And this next heat,
Oh,
Are
10
you
seconds.
surfing again today?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so. So you're
I
going to
hope
surf? Yeah.
not.
I hope
Really
not.
hope not.
So what are you hoping for
Well,
conditions tomorrow? I mean, have you
Um,
checked the forecast?
Just easier to paddle out. I'm not too bothered about size. I just wish it'd be easier, not like non-stop paddling.
Calm down the
Hopefully it's just-
frequency away,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's just non-stop. Like the wavelength's like 10 meters.
Yeah.
Literally. So
Yeah.
you duck dive and it gets you out of breath.
That's definitely, yeah.
And I think
We were
with the-
talking about
and I think
aerobic exercise.
with the incoming tide as well,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
all that water surging forward. So if we have a quick recap, I think Ruben did really well. Nice opening carve, and he does this really well here. The way he
Watch his
throws the
fins.
fins, bam. Nice, and the way he shifts his weight over his front foot's really nice and solid. So that was a quite high scoring wave.
On the replay, I agree. I thought his second wave was maybe better. This was,
But again, it's that gut feeling from the judges. isn't
yeah.
it?
This is Sam. This was enough to get him through. We thought he was going to stick on it. He's looking right.
So I
and
thought he
then
should have kept going right.
Yeah, then he comes forwards, gets a little foam climb there. Did enough to get through. That's the main thing. And how is it having your own personal rash vest? Did you get a picture of that?
I did get a photo. My partner Holly did take a photo. Didn't I? It's
Everyone's
smart
got
on it.
your name on the back of their rash vest.
Ah, wicked. No, I guess
'Cause they
that's
like
pretty
you.
Cool. It's sort of like WSL style.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
And this is Ruben's backup.
I thought this was better than his first wave.
It's
It was
very
inside
it's a
wave,
lot
but-
smaller.
yeah,
though. It's
okay, it's an inside
right
wave.
on the inside.
And he almost did kill Sam on the inside as well. Oi.
Yep.
Well, that was Luke in the yellow.
All right, so in the next heat, in the red, we have Jay Quinn, Lewis Handley, and Maximilian
Wow, look at
Hudson.
that. That's a vision, isn't it?
Look at that for a shot.
Is it still raining? You can't tell on these cameras at all whether it's raining or not.
How many more heats have you guys got to do?
So there's this one, and then
Three
we
more.
have heat number 6, Logan Nickel, Reese Barfield, Ben Bennett. Heat number 7 is
Aaron
Luke
Twain.
Dillon, Jack Keenan, and Finn Gamblin. Then heat number 8 is Joss Ash, Tom Butler, and Christian Hammond.
That's cool. So that's cool. So it's quarterfinals after this then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you'll be surfing round about about 4:30 tomorrow, when there'll be the quarterfinals of the men's open.
Have you got a target? You know where
Top
you're
10.
ranked at the moment.
Just want to be in the top 10.
Top
Well,
10
you're
this
seventh
year.
now.
Yeah.
Why not go for top 5?
Well, that'd be good, but I don't want to set my
I mean, there's
sights too high.
no Patrick
Set them
Van den
high.
Dark. Yeah,
Yeah,
a couple of surfers might not.
maybe.
You know,
yeah, top
you
5
know.
would be good, but 10, I've
Good-
done every event this year.
Good
It's
seeding
pretty
for
good,
next
isn't
year
it?
as well.
Yeah. Just wanted to do every event this year. I'm not in it to win it, just keeping me on the straight
gotta
and
be in it
narrow.
to win it.
Yeah, well,
Come on, you got to
it's
be in it
Mother
to win it,
Nature,
man.
and it's just a tough one.
Yeah, but still.
So, it's
Dan
like,
Kinsman, British commentators, where have you been? We are right here for you, Dan.
Thank you,
Here
Dan.
for your beck and call. But I think it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Having this webcast go out live. It's an
Yeah.
incredible job.
How many people are watching now?
3.
500,000 million.
Somewhere between 3
I think
and
this is what
500,000
British
million.
surfing
Actually,
needs.
if we're going to get existential, there's actually 3 more watching it right now.
Yeah, there you go.
It's X plus 3
It's
now
us-
that we can
us
watch
watching
ourselves on the
us.
screen.
I
Watching
think
you.
it's brilliant. I think, I hope, I think it can only get better as
What
well.
do you mean? Are you saying
from
it's so
now.
bad right now?
Yeah.
Sam,
The only way
please,
is up.
come on.
I
No, but
think, I think you're all doing a great job.
What's happened to
I
your
think
beach
you,
commentary?
You sometimes remind me of Terry Wogan's voice a little bit, only a little bit. If you notice that,
I'm sure you mean that as a compliment.
Like, yeah, he's got really. His, like Terry Wogan does radio, and he hasn't got an annoying voice.
You do go, ho
People
ho,
are
every
quite
now
good
and
for
then.
that, aren't they? For that sort of thing that requires a lot of talking, I think you've got a good voice. I don't think you've got a bad voice, Lee. I think
Yeah,
you've
you
got a
say
good
that.
voice
You
as
say
well.
that now.
But I think you have got that sort of like.
Oh, Sam, you're
if
too
you wanted
kind,
to turn
thank
it
you.
on, it could be quite a sexy voice. I think if you.
If I wanted to turn you on?
No, if you wanted to turn it on.
I think you should
here
go.
we here's
I
the
think you should go
rankings.
more Geordie and do it like
Why-
Big
why
Brother.
are you, man?
Harried? The 2018 leaderboard with the men's open is Ruben Ash, Jake Quinn, and Miles Lee Hargraves.
Can you boys do any impressions?
Of who?
Anyone?
Well, anyone
Can
on
you
that
do Any
leaderboard?
impression? No, any celebrity at all.
Not really.
No.
Can you?
Go on, that's
I
obviously
can.
set up. I saw
Well,
your
no, you
I saw
could-
your
so-
Instagrams on the way to Wales, which we can't show because of
Language.
post watershed.
Well, you could because no one can see you talking. You could say stuff like, "Oh, look, Chris Eubank just walked in." Oh no, turn that off. Never turn that off. It's Chris Eubank.
That ruins the illusion. That
Hello there, guys.
Oh, that's not
My name's
bad.
Christopher Livingstone Eubank, and what is this surfing malarkey I see going on here?
That's really good. That's amazing.
And you could just pretend that you got people here
goodness.
coming and joining. Don't you do
Chris,
that?
I
Come
can't
on.
believe you've joined us.
You obviously spend a lot of time alone.
No, I just like doing impressions.
You just like Chris Eubank.
which is usually with other people.
That's amazing.
That's bad. That wasn't a very good one. But
It's
I
because
can
you haven't got
do
Wi-Fi
way-
down in Seddon. That's what it is.
No, yeah,
Make your own
no.
entertainment.
We've lacked electric, Wi-Fi.
Hey, so Sam,
Yes, mate.
when you're not winning heats on
Yep.
UK Pro Surf Tour, what do you do? Like, how do you fill your days?
I run
And
the
when you-
Smart Surf School.
Whereabouts?
Sanning Cove, and I run that as a little family business where we get people, complete beginners into surfing the right way, and big ethos.
What by physical threats? Like stand up, or else you're going to get one of these.
No, like a more spiritual thing. Like we don't just sort of say, "Oh, come and have a surf lesson. Woohoo, good for you. Right, off you go next." A lot of people that learn to surf with us become like really close family friends, and they come back each year, and we change a lot of lives. We actually convert normal city people into surfers. Some people come down and have lessons with us. And
What
like-
you're saying is you take people who've got a normal, good, standard, structured life and ruin it.
Yeah.
And get them addicted to surfing,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
no.
that's it. That's
Depends
life
how you
done.
perceive a good, normal standard life. These
Give
people
up their
are bored. They're
livelihoods.
stressed out. They
Yeah.
want to get out of London. But yeah, no, we run a surf school down there. Pretty committed to that. Family
I've heard some
man
good
now.
things about it, actually, Sam. All joking aside, I hear that.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. And I'm a family man now. I've got a 1.5-year-old baby Roo. That's a full-time job. Very difficult.
You know what? I'm glad you say it like that and not say it's whatever, 472 days old, however parents call their kids. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, how old's your kid? 23 weeks old. Well,
Yeah, no, what's the
come on,
point
what's
of
that?
that?
3
She's
months?
just
Oh,
over a year and a half.
There you go,
yeah.
year and a half. Make
Yeah,
it
but I
nice
think
and
it
simple.
starts in pregnancy, doesn't it? When you start saying, "Oh yeah, I'm 32 weeks pregnant" or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a habit that overflows into.
Yeah,
So that
it's like,
changed my
oh,
life
look.
completely. But another thing you should be pointing
Hey,
out
real
here
quick,
is-
can we just get a catch up on this heat as well? See where everyone's at.
yeah, on that, how big would you say the waves are today,
Oh,
boys?
so we're just waiting. We're still waiting. Apparently, there's been a bit of a break in the action while we get things set up.
Sam was calling this 8 foot when we first tuned in this morning.
Because that's a thing you're saying about parents naming their age. How do you measure waves?
By
it's
how
kinda-
much my sphincter twitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Is
a lot
that-
of
is that
people
bad? Is that-
might-
that's too much,
pe-
isn't it?
People
What
might
time is it?
call, People might call this 3 foot, some might 4, and you measure it from the back, from the front. How do you measure? How would you head high? I just say head high.
That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Can we
Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
tee up? Can we tee up Miles's wave, his first wave from this morning's heat? Oh, come on,
Come on, Henry. Wave number 2, heat number 3,
And
red.
red.
are we
Red,
going to
heat
measure
one.
the wave?
And what we're gonna look at. So I said there's some 8-footers out there.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now Miles's wave wasn't the biggest wave by any stretch that we've seen come through. It was just one of the bigger ones we've seen surfed
At that point in the day.
at that point.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of bravado. There's a lot of machismo. I don't know why we suddenly went
Downplaying.
Italian. Ma bravado,
Yeah.
machismo.
Yeah.
BS, we call it here in England.
So
Yeah, because you could have waves that look really big, and then someone's like, "Oh, it's about 4 foot, mate."
Yeah.
Like, well,
But also the angle.
That's it.
Like, I can remember we got one guy up
Yeah.
high, and then so we're kind of looking
Oh,
down.
there
Hey,
he is.
Anton, there we go.
Anton's the master of light.
And sound.
Anton, he's just going for a wee.
That sounds like David Bowie.
Master of light and sound. Maybe a song title there.
Possibly.
You're a bit of a singer, aren't you? You play.
I can do anything.
You
mate.
can't play. Why do I think you can play a guitar?
I can play the guitar.
Oh, well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
Do you know,
not dreaming.
I would love to hear you do a Chris
got a song.
Eubank and karaoke. There you go.
Yeah.
Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, forwards, backwards. So
Ah,
Chris Eubank
but
on the
I'm,
mic.
I'm a pugilist. I'm not a musician. Don't get me started.
That's what they used to call the oversized earbuds, wasn't it? On Gladiators, pugil sticks.
Pugil
Yeah,
sticks,
they
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Jousting rods.
Ah,
So
jet.
what are we talking about? Can we get this back on track here?
We've got someone paddling out. That's always a good sign.
All right.
It doesn't look like Jay Quinn, though.
No.
No, he's Blondie.
Maybe Max didn't turn up, so we're going to go straight into heat number 6.
Would that be Logan Nickel
That
then?
looks more like Logan to me. Reece Barfield and Ben Bennett then will be joining him in the water. So obviously
a no-show.
no show for Max Hudson or maybe Lewis Handley. We will find out for you.
Have people pulled out the event from looking at the conditions?
Which is understandable, especially for the younger surfers. I mean, we had young Barnaby already surfed 3 times and he goes into the open. Same with Noah Caps, surfed 3 times today already. Can you remember having that much energy as a young lad?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I do. I miss it.
What do you
Yeah.
Do you guys get tired?
Pardon?
All the time.
I get
Really?
knackered out of
Yeah.
it.
Boys.
Yeah, full on. What are you
on.
saying it like that for, Sam? You must get knackered now,
No,
sure.
no, what you missed out on.
TATT. There's an actual syndrome. TATT. Tired all the time. It's a clinical. There's a clinical thing. It's a medical condition.
See, do you know what? There's
TATC.
common denominator here. I'm boundless energy. I'm fit as hell. So I
Tired
think what's
all the
happened
time.
over the years, essentially, is that I've deployed economy of movement in all areas of my life, 24/7.
I've just got old.
No, no.
That's my excuse.
You guys trained hard, though, didn't you, for quite a few years?
Yeah,
See, I've
for-
been lazy
You
my
would,
entire.
you would have trained
boxing,
twice as
it's,
hard.
um,
Yeah,
It
see,
was
so
really
I was
intense.
lazy my entire life, so I didn't use up any of my batteries.
So now it's all
So
coming
now
to
it's
fruition.
coming back. Ha-ha!
People can be like cars, can't they? If you're a really fit, finely tuned engine, you know, real low body fat, and just walking around like super fit, you're really susceptible to get.
doesn't take much to put it out of balance,
And
yeah.
then you get people that are like old diesels, like Lamoureux here, who just chugs along.
Yeah, but every
Diesel.
every,
Makes it sound like Thomas the Tank Engine.
every individual has a base limit of fitness. So, like for example, people like yourself might not train for ages and ages, and then it only takes you maybe a couple of weeks to get back
Yeah,
into
yeah.
it. So, my argument always was it's easier to stay fit than it is to get fit,
Yeah.
and that's kind of something I'm taking up to my almost 50s. I'm trying to keep in that kind of mindset.
Little and often.
Almost
Yeah.
50.
I'm 48 next month, so I'm definitely the wrong side of 40.
You've still got a better six-pack now than I did when I was.
You are quite fit, mate. Guns on him.
No, well, I haven't been surfing much because of my knees, a bit of tendonitis.
So let's right. So
hasn't
I think
helped.
we can have a quick look at this wave of
this way,
miles
okay,
right at the
Miles.
start.
Oh, here we go.
That's not it.
No,
Come on,
back,
Henry.
back. Right at the start of this thing.
Got one job, Henry. Come on.
That was a nice sweeping
That was a
turn.
nice- yeah.
Bit weak on the rebound.
This was the 733.
Yeah, but I think there's a wave before this that was a bit bigger.
That wasn't the 73. That was a 707. The wave
Yeah.
before was the 733. Nice try, Henry. One
Yeah,
wave.
it was good. Yeah. 3 points for that.
Yeah.
So look at this. Suddenly the outside is very much. This could become sort of an inside air show, and we really could make the most. So we've gone straight into.
Imagine it's heat 7. Heat 6, sorry. Heat
So
6.
we're in heat 6. So we jumped past heat 5. So we're assuming Jay Quinn is here. We're assuming he went through. And we have kicked off heat number 6
Here we go.
in round 1 of the men's open. Round 1.
But this is definitely reform city now. This is the only
Hey,
waves they're going to get.
I'd be on a 6-0 on the inside, looking to get. Hold on.
Right, boys.
Oh, we're going to
lovely
thank Sam. Yeah.
Well, hold on, Sam. Don't go yet. Stay here for a sec.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
for a second, and then we'll
Alright.
kick back into it. We'll,
Okay.
We
we
gotta
want to
do-
say a proper goodbye.
Yeah,
if
we've
we're
got to do
gonna
the
leave.
gentlemanly thing where we shake your hand on screen and
Oh, do we?
yeah,
And like hug and stuff.
like it's not set up at all. Sam,
Okay.
thanks a lot for coming in, man.
Very welcome.
Congratulations on your
Thank
win.
you very much.
Yeah,
And
we'll
unlucky
see
on
you
your win.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I wish I'd known that. See, it's more to competition surfing than just going surfing, isn't it?
You got to think ahead, mate. Got to think
Really
ahead.
is.
We'll
Thanks
have a
lot.
chat about it tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
All right, perfect.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
All right, we shall shove back in our normal positions. So, thank you to Sam there. That's given us an insight to actually surfing a heat,
Yeah.
rather than us just making it up. Not as easy
What
as
a-
we thought.
One of the now that he's gone, we can say it. What a tool! No. One of the nicer.
He was still sweating from his surf.
What? Yeah, but he was wearing fake fur
You-
and
we-
leather.
Definitely, yeah,
But,
definitely wearing the layers there.
But Sam, one of the nicest surfers you'll ever likely meet, and I think his demeanour.
Yeah.
Do you know what you often find? I think the people that are really actually quite tough, like nails, hard, that don't have to prove anything,
No.
tend to be really calm,
Yeah.
really nice, genial.
Do you know why? And this is my thoughts on it. When someone punches you in the face, you need to stay calm. If you're in a fight, you need to stay calm, even whether you're boxing or it's in a street, because once you just go red mist, you lose
It's done.
control.
So you
Whereas-
shouldn't do what I do, which is close my eyes, turn around, run, and cry.
No, absolutely run. if you want to
Bobby.
avoid a fight, run.
All right, so Reece Barfield opens up this heat with a 4.17. And we have Logan Nickel with a 2.83. So a couple of minutes in, and the boys have started trading blows.
Well, we should see more waves because the guys aren't going to be trying to get out back because you can't see out back anymore.
I think it'd be good to widen our scope a little bit to see if we can get a bit more of a pulled back view so we can
There we go.
spot our surfers.
Camera 2, that's the shot. Oh, there goes your little
Oh,
dot.
there's a hound. Look.
Whee. So it looks like a few people starting to turn up. A bit of a spectacle. Only a couple of these in the world.
It's amazing.
This one here, one in France. Not sure if they do it in Australia.
They
I
used to
wouldn't
have
do it in South Africa.
They used to have one in South Africa. They used to have one
No
at Durban.
way. No.
And you can imagine being out in the water at Durban during a night surf.
Yeah.
There's an added element
Spooky.
of frisson.
Yeah, definitely spooky. But this kind of makes the waves look really good. Like there's a left-hander just breaking wave after wave there. But as
Bowling in.
We just heard old Sam there just saying just how difficult it is. Basically, get your head down. Am I going to get out back? If not, I need to stand up and catch some waves. 16 minutes remaining. Heat number 6, round number 1 of the Open. There's 8 heats in this round. I believe we're going to call it quits after the 8th heat. We've had nothing about going into any more surfing.
No, I
after
think
this.
absolutely. I think after this, it will finish around about the 9 o'clock.
And we are going to start slightly earlier tomorrow. 9 o'clock start by the looks of it. So an 8:45 event call. We're going to look at conditions and then maybe.
And what we'll
go
try
with
and
the-
do, I think, is we will run the feed and just use the beach commentary.
Using it,
just
yep.
so if you've got friends, family in heats, that you can keep track of them.
Yep.
And we will probably join you with our inane ramblings. We'll join you around about the 4 o'clock mark.
Yeah.
4:30.
But the event schedule is up on the UK Pro Surf Tour website. If you want to know what's going to go on tomorrow, like I said, we still got a couple of heats to go, so we're kind of writing tonight off, and we still got Luke Dillon, I think he's number 4 at the moment on the tour. Still in with the shout. Oh no, he's not now. Not now. Ruben's got through. It's a 2-horse race between himself and Jay Quinn, who had a nice, easy passage through into the quarterfinals. Not even getting his hair wet. So he'll be happy with that.
So we don't have a result for Heat 5, but I'm sure if Jay was around, that would be counted as.
I can't see Jay not being around.
No.
To be fair, he was pretty upset with his result in Scotland, but I think he was also cold. He did throw down some massive airs though. I'll give him that.
That thing was ridiculous. He did one
he
big
buckled
straight
his board.
air.
He did buckle his board. You could see it when he landed. He looked straight down and came straight in.
It was like, change that out. So the surfer's battling light, battling the waves, and it is a real challenge to find a nice looking wave out there.
And this was the thing you were talking about earlier. You can see Logan there looking over his shoulder at the beach, probably making sure he hasn't drifted too far left or right. But when you do that, you're just blinded by this bank of spotlights.
I mean, you know what's really cool, right? So the light has a profound impact on your eyes, obviously.
Yeah.
Have a go at this at home. So if you're watching this, keep your eyes open, and then cover your eyes as much as you can. Try and make it all black. Keep your eyes open. Keep it like that for about 20 seconds. And then when you remove your hands, everything's brighter because your pupils, your apertures, in essence, is widened to look for more light, to allow more light in. So we have someone joining us in the booth. Oh no, we're not. Oh no, we won't. Nobody's here. Nick isn't here. Oh. 1 second, we have some insider info. Pop it on. Here we go. We've got your headset. No, I'll shift down. I'll shift up.
Yeah.
Come in.
Shove down
So this is Nick Williams, who does our beach commentary.
He's going to.
10 seconds, just a quick assessment what happened there. Heat was bypassed. Max Hudson deemed to have an injury.
Oh,
Right.
We are confirmed that no one, that there's a no-show by a surfer. As long as it's in the first round, we can skip forward.
at what stage? How far out from the heat?
You need to wait within, well, if you confirm you're an injury, you need to let contest director know.
But
And that heat
okay.
will be skipped. Previous to that heat was the heat with
2 servers?
Joe Ellery.
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now that one, was an interesting one. Sam Smart was in the heat, our beach commentator. So that's an interesting one because we couldn't let that one skip by. We didn't know what the situation with Joe was. In the event that Sam had not taken away, remember how late?
Yep.
Yeah.
In the heat that was. In the event that he had not taken a wave, Sam would also have been out. We would only have had one surfer.
Oh, wow.
So
Right,
that he-
okay.
You can't progress without a score.
Exactly.
Was he
So we didn't
notified of
know
that?
What's the difference between Joe
Showing
not
up.
being there
Yeah,
and
okay.
Sam being in
Okay.
the water but not taking away? So
Okay.
that was an interesting
So
one. I didn't know
Joe
about.
was
Yeah.
a no-show as opposed to an
yes,
injury.
we weren't sure. We weren't
Okay.
certain of what
Yeah.
the situation. Whereas
But
Max Hudson
he
had
could
already
still have,
missed
yeah.
his division.
So Joe
earlier.
still could have
Okay.
turned up with 2 minutes to
Oh,
go.
here we
paddle
go.
out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got Logan Nickel having a look at this
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
That's
Cheers,
it, boys.
No, thank you. Thank you for the explanation.
Are there any more no-shows, or are we... Oh, Logan Nickel, a nice little
Not
speed
that
turn off
we're
the top.
aware of.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
Enjoy your evening. 3 more heats.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for clearing that up, Nick.
And now we know.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that a no-show is the same as not catching a wave.
So,
And now
so
we know.
so just real quick. So if Sam had been in the next heat where there was an injury and he didn't catch a wave, would he still go through? Or not? He would. Okay. All right. Interesting. It would have been a tie for third. Okay. Interesting.
Didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
So that was a good wave from Logan Nickel there. I would imagine that could be one of the best. That might be the best wave of the heat.
I didn't see Reese's 417, to be fair.
So we've got 11 minutes left.
And Yellow? Is Yellow out there? Is Yellow like another no-show that could paddle out? Or is he just paddling and paddling?
So Ben Bennett, I mean, they're running the heat, which would suggest that
He
they
hasn't confirmed he's not surfing.
Yes, so he could
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
So they
Or
have to
he
run
has
the
shown
heat.
up and he just hasn't caught a wave.
So Logan Nickel guaranteed to get through with that little bit of information. And if you're watching this at home and you are Reese's parents or you're his friend and go, hey guys, stop waffling on, talking nonsense, I want to see the action in the water. I guess what we're trying to achieve here is a balance between being informative, entertaining, but also making sure that we cover the surfing. You know,
Yeah.
that's the key focus, is to make sure that when there's good waves happening, we capture them and we see them, and we. So Logan's last wave was a 3.23. That puts him up into the lead.
But not only that, we were wondering why one heat wasn't run and another heat did run.
Yeah.
And now we know why. Because one heat had a confirmed injury, which left it with 2 surfers going straight through, and the second heat, where there was 3, one person could have turned up late and still had enough time to paddle out and catch a wave and be
Yeah.
scored. So
But how savage if you're in one of those heats and you don't get a wave, even though you've showed up, you can get eliminated.
you still go out.
That's
Yeah.
heavy. That's heavy.
That's good to know. Not that I'm going to use it now because
Hey,
I don't compete anymore.
I
but
would really want to know that if I was paddling
Yeah.
out in a heat.
Or maybe we need
Just
to
stand
find,
up, just
need-
stand up.
We need to find Sam and tell him for his heats tomorrow in the quarters. Just,
Yeah.
look, just make
Just-
sure you stand up on
Just
something.
in case.
Yeah.
It helps.
Okay, so Red holding on to first place. Again, Reese has just dropped down. Won't need much to take the lead back. Just a 1.06. Ben in yellow. I've yet to see him on screen, to be fair.
Lee, you turned the score that Reese needs totally on its head. It's a 1.90. You went 1.06. That's like dyslexic and back to front.
Did
upside
I?
down.
Okay. I am actually numbers dyslexic,
Hey.
which is not good being a shaper. So I do apologise for anyone who's ever ordered a
Is that
6.
why I got a 2.6 off you?
yeah. Yeah, you did. You wanted a 6.2.
Oh, damn it.
No, I do read numbers backwards for some reason.
Do you know what, Lee? I'd like to get a board off you one day. Like, see a little...
Did we not make you one? Years ago.
a 4th?
Or was
You
it a
did.
Toy Factory one when we were
it
up
was
at Treloggan?
It was a 4th.
Okay.
And it was I remember it being a 5 fin, and I actually surfed it as a quad.
Right.
And I had some really good waves on it.
Do you know what you should try?
Uh-huh.
Which I find really good fun is a form adapt, and I've been
Okay, really?
pushing this a lot. I'm not a twin fin surfer. Twin fin surfing doesn't suit my style, or vice versa. But the fact I put little belly channels in mine,
Okay.
and I thought I would run it as a thruster, surf it as a twin fin, hate it, and then just keep it as a thruster.
Yeah.
And I've done the total opposite. Surfed it
Thruster?
once as a thruster, and then just loved it as a twin fin.
What, have you got FCS in there, or?
Yeah,
oh,
FCS
here we
2s.
go.
Just
Logan
got
having
a
another
little
look. Stay on him,
reform-
stay on him.
Little reform from Logan. Near the rocks.
Oh, no.
I
Decides not
decided to go.
stick with it.
Yeah, FCS. I think got the MRs in there, the Mark Richards.
Do you know what?
Really good fun.
I'm a huge fan of if I'm surfing a wide bottom board, like a fat tail, like a fat bottomed girl, which
Yeah.
is not a girl, a fat bottomed board, which is in keeping at the moment with the release of the new Queen movie. But when I surf a board with a really wide tail on it, I do like to go with the MR side fins
Yeah.
and a normal thruster, like an M3 or like a Slater back fin or like a
Well,
normal.
this particular board isn't exceptionally wide.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of pulled in. So when we get it tomorrow, we'll have a look at mine in the back of the van.
All right. I'd look
Hey,
forward to that.
Sean, what's going on? Okay, yeah, I would have to agree. Best UK surfer. I'm gonna have to put Jay up there. I mean, Ruben's my boy. You know, Jay's a buddy as well. I think they're very they do two very different styles,
Right now,
but
possibly, but can you go past Russ Winter ever? Unless someone
I
does
thought-
something
yeah, I was-
utterly spectacular.
I thought you meant I thought they were talking about.
Right now,
Yeah.
okay, it'd be difficult to argue against Ruben being the best ever, but
Here we go, Red. He's open for a reform. Keep him busy. I like Logan's kind of strategy now. Just keep busy. Just keep catching waves.
I'd like to see the pulled back shot just to see where he is relative to the rocks.
The rest
where he
of
is
the
on
beach. There you go. With Mr. B stood right in the way. Anyone would think Mr. B doesn't know about camera and positioning the way he stood there right in front of our camera.
So let's see. This is like where's Wally? So let's see if we can spot Logan anywhere. He might be over to the right a little bit.
I'm looking for Ben in yellow. I don't think we have a yellow out there.
So we're not in communication with the beach marshal, so we're not sure whether Ben has showed up. There he is. Oh, he's having a little look at this inside left, so he can't be
Reform.
that close to the rocks. Oh,
Here we
so I
go.
missed that section.
Little fin whip, just a manoeuvre, and
You know,
go
I
for
would
a
say
little
there, the
chop
thing
hop.
that removed a bit of dynamism from that was that he pulled up and didn't compress down over his front leg. You know, when he does
Yeah.
that turn, he
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of straightened up a bit. Whereas someone like Ruben, you know, when he threw his tail, he hits it and then compresses over the front foot, and that releases the fins, but also drives his board down the whitewater and back in front of the wave.
And also, before he did the maneuver, he didn't coil. He did the little two-stage bottom turn.
Didn't wind it up.
Yeah, he didn't coil down and then push up, which, you know, like Ruben, Luke, and Jay, even Miles, when we saw that heat earlier, no double pumping. It was fluid maneuver
Big
to
line.
maneuver. Yeah, and the judges really pick up on that, especially when it's this close.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple,
Keep
stupid.
it simple. Keep your rails clean.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the.
That was from science, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, that was
Not weird science.
bigger boobs. That was,
That was
some
a weird science,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Do you know what? When I was at university, I tried to watch that movie with my friends I was in university with. We tried to watch that movie probably 10 times,
Right.
and we were always a little bit too tired,
Right.
I'd say,
Yeah.
to watch it all the way through. So we'd get like, there would normally be some chips in the oven, some oven chips going.
Yeah.
They would be black in the morning. There would be some orange juices, and we never quite. I don't think I've ever seen the end of it.
Never seen the end of it.
Similar with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I also think I've tried to watch that numerous times and never quite made it. So Logan's last wave, I think it was a 3.17.
I think
so
we're still
he's-
waiting for a score. Maybe that last wave didn't go into his top two. I
I
think he's
think
had a
it
pair of
did.
threes or very similar to his previous score.
So we've kind of lost Reese in the gloom.
In the abyss of whiteness.
Is there anything left in the sky? Nope, it's dark. So now we can see an airplane flying off overhead, and all you can see is the lights. There's
Sounds
no
like a-
light left. All you can
I
see
don't
now.
want to nitpick, but it sounds like a helicopter. Spending 9 years at the airport. He has a heli.
Whatever. All we can see out in the night sky
It's
is a
just little
helicopter, as
flashy-
I said.
Yeah, little flashy lights.
I said it was a helicopter.
Thought you did.
Yeah.
Someone's
So-
going for out back there. Here we go. Reese Barfield.
Oh, can you stay with it? So this wave.
2.24.
Here we go.
Nope. Didn't see what he did previous to that, but at the moment it looks like him and Logan are going through regardless. Here's Logan up and down. And who's out the back in the next heat? That could have been Surfer in Red, or Luke Dillon in the next heat, making his way out the back. Going as far as he can. 3 minutes then on the clock. Round number 1, heat number 6. 3.23 and a 3.17 for Logan Nicol in the lead. There's one score to come through for Reese Barfield, who has the best single wave score, 4.17. And possibly a no-show for Ben Bennett, but as Nick did tell us when he so kindly came in and put us straight, that if people phone up to say they're not going to be here, and that leaves two surfers in a heat,
They can both go through.
that heat will be scratched and they'll both go through. If there's 3 surfers in a heat and one doesn't show, you have to run the heat just in case that third person does turn up, and you have to catch waves if you do turn
Yeah,
up.
how heavy is that?
I
had
never knew
no
that.
idea.
Yeah.
I thought just by the virtue of being out there, you would get through
So I've
automatically.
been competing for I've been not competing, but in surfing for like 30 years, and I never knew that.
But
Or maybe
that's
it's a new thing, or I don't know.
Do you know what? That's a little bit like that interference rule
Oh,
that we've seen twice now.
on the other tour, the tour
yeah.
that we shall not speak about. But
Oh,
yeah.
it's a
But no, I know exactly what you mean.
But I found that peculiar. So Reese Barfield with that last wave, just a 2.77, so we didn't miss anything substantial.
Yeah.
It was essentially just those turns that we saw on the inside. That was enough to get him back into the lead, and now Logan needs a 3.72.
If he wants to lead back. And if he does, he'll probably meet Jay Quinn in the next round. There you go. There's Outback. I did see somebody further out, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be Luke Dillon in the next heat, red. Here we go on the inside then. 1.5 minutes remaining.
Nice little float. Keeps a high line to try and get connection. Hits it again. And maybe a finish.
Oh,
Nice.
there we go. Right onto the beach. That's a good little wave.
Well-controlled surfing there from Reese Barfield.
I'd say that's better than his 2.77.
I would say that's probably better than his 4.17.
Yeah.
Have we got to go into the 5s?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't, no.
I'm going to go 5.
Actually saw met up with Reese in Sri Lanka this February. He was just there on the off chance I was there at the same time. And we kind of crossed over for a few days, and then he
Get
went
a
off
few
to Indo.
waves?
Yeah, really
Okay,
good
Lee,
fun.
Best surf trip you've ever been. Oh, hold on. Let's see out this heat. And let's really on this next heat. Let's really try and keep an eye on the surface and see if we can get
Red's out the back, so he's going to be.
but not there.
Yeah.
He's in the dark.
There he is. Well, that's still Logan, but I'm pretty sure Luke Dillon in the red in the next heat is way out the back.
So we'll maybe try and keep it on the wide shot for a while and then pick up the surface as they catch waves, because with a focused lens, it's hard to see the playing field. And look at the playing field essentially defined by the reach of the lights.
There's red out the back there. Not sure what red that is.
So Reese at 5.4.
There you go. You were right. I was wrong. I stand corrected. Stranglehold on the lead. Oh, here we go, Logan.
Oh. And he's
It's
up just
going
in
to
time.
count. It is going to count. As we
But I
hear.
don't think this is going to be a 6.38.
No.
Not by virtue of his ability, purely by the virtue of this wave and what it's going to offer him. But he's got himself through. He's in the quarterfinals of the Open Men's Division, which is pretty cool.
Let's have a recap. So it only looked like two surfers then. Ben Bennett not making it for whatever reason. But as Nick explained, these surfers had to surf, had to catch waves to make sure they go through.
So this is the Smart Parking Night Surf at Fistral Beach under the floodlights. And it's the final stop on the UK Pro Surf Association Tour. It's pretty exciting. We've
And
got a
do you know
head-to-head
what?
battle between Jay Quinn.
We've been blessed at every event with waves. We did have to put this event on hold from June, obviously, because we had boiling June. Here we go. Recap. Remember how hot June was and how flat it was? Well, that's when we should have run this. Logan with the boots. Are they wearing boots up in Wales already? Maybe.
Alright, so Heat 7 has just got underway. We can hear the horn.
You
So
can hear
on your
Nick,
screen.
Nick pretending to be the horn.
So he missed that first section, and there, this is that coil we were talking
Yeah,
about. Didn't
yeah.
coil up and didn't compress at the end. And then Reese Barfield kind of put it to bed with a couple of good waves.
This little reform, he goes low road. He saw the wave doubling up. Oh, not this one. It was his next left-hander. This little double up thing. Nice control over the white water, and then he gets another tag, and then one more little bonus section to finish.
And again, I mean,
Yeah.
this was...
That's a nice little
Well surfed,
four-turn. Yeah, four-turn
Yeah.
move.
Alright, let's cut back to the action. Heat number 7, Luke Dillon, Jack Keenan, and Finn Gamblin. Let's see what we can see.
Finn, one of the younger surfers in the event, in the Open at least. He's in the under-16s, I believe. Under-16, just going to find him. Finn Gamblin.
So this
He's in the under-18s.
This is the penultimate heat. In the next heat, we have Joss Ash, Tom Butler, and Christian Hammond. We've already seen Christian Hammond earlier in the under-18s.
Scouring that lineup, looking for a shadow that doesn't belong out there. And pretty sure that must be so bizarre being out there in the darkness. It's a bit like that story of the guy who fell off the boat in Indo and was left in the water for 24 hours.
Frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Lucky he's in Indo, because I mean you can get away with when the water's 28 degrees, you know you're not going to get hypothermia. Oh, I can see yellow then. I can see Finn just up on screen. So he has made his way kind of halfway out back. Here we go. Yellow. Nice little late takeoff, and the wave instantly dies.
Can you stay with it? No, so
No.
this is Finn. So that was Christian Hammond, sorry.
Was that Christian Hammond?
No, sorry, that was
There's
Finn
Finn.
Gamblin. That was Finn Gamblin.
Just pretty sure red Luke Dillon is way out the back. And Luke, one of our surfers who came down here last night to try out the lights, he said he couldn't see anything, but that's probably because it's so bright. Sam was saying earlier on, when you're paddling out, you're kind of looking into darkness, and you look around and you just see bright lights. You do kind of get blinded. Stephen Cave, like in the Slameroy commentary.
Yeah, KB.
Got no idea what's going on this search, but we try.
Hey, so KV's been through everything you can imagine. It's great to have him back on form. He's had children. He's had a few stints in with the NHS, and he's back. And he's also probably the conductor to some of our most wilder times when we were in Croyd with the O'Neill Surf Academy, where we flew in instructors from all over the world, especially Santa Cruz, and we were very much taken to the bosom of the Croyd surf scene, and actually produced some subsequent British champions in the form of Stuart Campbell, who hadn't surfed until we inducted him into our ways. So really, really amazing times, and cool to have KV with us. A beautiful part of the world, actually, Croyd. And as the waves go, low tide Croyd, one of the better beach breaks in the UK, I would say.
Unarguably, I would
Like just
even as a local at Fistral, I would definitely give Croyd the nod over Fistral on its day.
just a bit more open, isn't it? A bit hollower, a bit
Yeah,
more French. A
it's-
little bit more French.
Yeah, I was going
huh?
to say the continental shelf just a little bit steeper, a little bit more punch to the waves.
And, yeah, but lovely to have you with us, KV. Steve, one of the nicer humans on the planet.
I just saw white and yellow literally side by side.
There they are.
Do you reckon that's kind of like a comfort thing? I'd be looking for support. I'd be looking for moral support out there. In this
How do you paddle holding hands?
yeah. Well, we got Fionn.
It'd be like a three-legged
Fionn
race.
and Jack showing us. Here we go. Late takeoff then for Jack.
Now, where is Luke?
I think he's way out the back.
This is dangerous for him. I mean, he doesn't want to relinquish his fourth position. He wants to build on that and at least finish third in the rankings. I think he might still have a shot second, but working his way through. So Luke started out with a 4.43. So we'll try and see if we can pick him up. That was Jack Keenan.
So Luke is
Finn.
out there somewhere.
Finn now by himself. Oh, there's somebody there.
Oh, there they are. Look, there's red. Well done, that man. There's red and yellow sat next to each other.
So we're going to have to ask Biff for the next night surf. Can we get infrared cameras?
yeah. Is that in the budget?
We have a first set score for Jack Keenan.
Or maybe just like a collar that kind of an LSD collar. LSD collar?
I
Is that the right?
I don't
no,
know
No.
if an
What's the word I'm
LSD
looking for?
What-
LED collar. There you go.
like a collar that releases.
It'd make things more entertaining, though, wouldn't it? So the colour of your shirt, you've got. If you're in yellow, you've got
I'll
a
tell you
yellow
what,
rim
if
round.
you
the
had
neck.
an LSD collar, you would have a
You'd be-
colourful
yeah,
shirt.
Yeah, everybody would have the colourful shirt. Yeah, LED. Because red at the moment is completely disappeared in the darkness of the ocean there.
This is quite exciting, isn't it?
It is if you're not red.
Oh, here
There
he
goes
goes.
yellow.
Yellow, having a paddle. Will this wave give him anything? It looks like it's starting to stand up. Is he coming into the lights? Nope, he decides to kick out. What? Look at that little inside ball. He missed out on that.
It looks like the guys are just doing law of averages, just catching a wave and just it might wall up, it might not.
Keep busy.
Here we go.
And you'll see a lot of the surfers taking off like this. Oh, can you get around that
Oh.
section?
I hate whitewater takeoffs.
But do you know what? I just had a little flashback to the last time I surfed a night surf, that I was looking for the ones that had a crumbly bit of whitewater because you could see them. And that
Yeah.
those shadows you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
you can't see how steep a wave is.
No.
So you kind of, at least if they're starting to break a little bit, you know, all right, it'll let me in, I can catch it.
Yeah.
So I was actually looking for little roll-ins. I was looking for little crumbly white lips that I could just sort of use to slide into the wave.
And then once you've taken off, it's just reactionary.
Then it
There's not
becomes,
really.
then you, but if the waves are clean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But in these conditions where you have to, like you said, react to what the wave's doing, well, if you can't see the thing,
Yeah.
it becomes a bit different. On the white, see, did you see the surfer in white there? He did doing exactly that. Stay with him. Oh,
Little top
slash
turn there,
there.
yeah. That's going to be a score. Ah, we've lost him. Keep him busy though, Jack. I like that. He's going to consolidate second place. Only Finn with that 0.67 at the moment. 12 minutes 45 seconds on the clock.
And you can see how close to the shore the waves are breaking.
Well, this is dead on high tide, pretty much. Maybe starting to drop out. I did write down here. Yeah, high
So-
tide is 7 p.m. 7.25 meter, which is up in the spring tides.
So tomorrow, what's really cool is we've got a high tide at 7:40.
7:45, something like that. Yeah.
The tide is the same size as it is today. So, oh no, a slightly smaller tide, but I think
Yeah.
it'll be negligible. And we will have the women's and men's finals just following high tide. So it should be pretty much this stage of tide.
In the darkness. 12 minutes. So we do have one more heat. Joss Ash, Tom Butler, Christian Hammond coming up. That's going to be our last heat of the day. And We're still searching for our surfer in red. He's had one wave, best wave of the heat, and Finn Gamblin actually moves up into second place, although we do owe Jack a score, I think. So Finn at 1.57, 0.93. And what does Jack need? He needs a 0.20 to move up into second place. Only needs a 2.14 to take the lead.
So, both these surfers absolutely capable of
Taking the
catching
lead.
Luke. He
Taking-
needs to
yeah.
be really careful. He's got the best wave of the heat so far, but he needs to just make sure that he gets something.
Yeah, he needs to stand up. Now he's probably caught in that no man's land of being too far out and not enough inside for these reforms.
I mean, if you're Luke here, you just want to get anything. You want to get a 2-point ride on the board.
I mean, you could probably just take off on white water out the back, and at some point that wave's going to reform and maybe give you a scoring opportunity through the inside. It might not. This is the roll of the dice kind of tactic of surfing heats. So you can see there, just white water. It's relentless. There's no lulls on a day like today. There's no break in the waves.
I think that's what makes that paddle out so difficult. So
Yeah.
here we go. Look at that. So already, Jack Keenan
Yep.
is 3.0.
He
Goes up into the
He
lead.
did a 2.14 to take the lead. He gets better than that. And now, I wonder if Luke can hear. I can hear Nick on the speakers out there, conveying information. I just saw somebody duck dive there. Another way you could do this, probably not very financially viable, but is to have drones with big, bright spherical orbs,
Yeah.
just kind of floating around.
Well,
know,
you see them
so-
on movie sets, don't you? When they have to film in places that you cannot shut down during the day, and they have these giant, like small hot air balloon,
Right, of
looking
just light.
globes.
Yeah.
But like you say, you could suspend them off drones. That would work. Or fill them with helium and attach them to anchors, as we see Luke Dillon
There he is out there
in the
then.
darkness.
Yeah.
There he
Yeah.
is. He's just about to pop up now onto your screen. We
Yeah.
found him.
Just duck diving away.
Do you know what's interesting? He duck dived then, and the wave entirely
There's nothing.
disappeared.
Yeah, nothing to duck dive.
So watch this. He duck dives, and then it almost like the white water evaporates
Yeah.
because it goes into deep water, which is dangerous because if he and the further he paddles out, the less
the
light
worse
there
it's going
is.
to get. Yeah. Well, this is what I was saying about being caught too far out and not enough on the inside for the reform.
And he's got 9 minutes. He's fine. So he's got to have 2.6.
Ah, there we go.
So in the meantime, he's
Yeah.
had a little. He's not stupid, is he?
Nah.
He said, "Look, do you know what? Let me just get something here."
He's done enough events to know how to get through heats. I think he's made, again, pretty much every final this year. A second place at the Smart Surf. Wasn't around for the Snowdonia event because he was in Japan.
And that would have changed the dynamic a lot because Luke, Jay, and Ruben were all in Japan.
They were the top 3 seeds, and they
But-
all missed the second event.
But this is where, because the prize purse for this is £5,000 for the winner.
For the tour winner,
For the
yeah.
tour winner.
Yep, yep.
But you'd have to say if Luke, Ruben, or Jay said, you know, actually, thanks for the invite, but I'm not going to represent England. I
Yeah.
am actually going to stay.
What would you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd go to the Worlds because
Yeah.
I want to try and win a world title.
And also, it's in Japan, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be on that plane.
Yeah.
Oh, there we have Luke Dillon, and we caught him a little bit late. Another hit. Oh, that looks like a good wave he's putting together. And he's out there.
Body language suggests he wasn't really happy with that, but doesn't matter. He's going to extend his lead,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Across the halfway point of this heat.
So yeah, Japan's it's a funky place, man. I was there in 1990 with a British team, and they've got vending machines on the streets that sell beer. Could you imagine that over here?
Is that a bad thing?
It's not in Japan, because nobody abuses it. Just a vending machine in the street where you can get a can of lager.
For some reason, that seems totally normal to me. I don't understand what the issue with that is.
Well,
Like,
how do you
underage
stop
drinking?
Yeah, I mean, how do you
Okay.
or how do you stop it being pushed over and smashed? And I mean, look what happens to. When was the last time you saw a phone box in this country?
Yeah, but that's not the same. You're allowed to make underage
Yeah, but
phone calls.
a phone box gets beaten up for doing nothing. Imagine if it held beer.
I
it wouldn't last an hour.
This gang of youths came and started on me. All right, phone box, calm down.
Yeah.
Could you pick them out of a lineup? No, I get your point.
Yeah.
I get your point. Do they still sell beer in vending machines?
In Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I spoke to one of our team riders, Garage McDade.
Is he out there?
He was out there for the
of
Worlds.
course.
And I messaged him, I was like, are they still in vending machines with alcohol? He's like, yep. So, yeah.
Maybe you need an ID. You know how you've got like
Oh,
an
yeah,
identity
yeah,
card?
maybe.
You put that in and
Maybe
it
you could only
scans
use a
you
credit card to get it out.
retinal.
But this is 1990 when
you-
when you used to use things called cash to buy stuff. Remember those days?
Isn't that strange? How crazy is so the last wave for Luke Dillon at 3.73? How crazy is contactless?
It's scarily good.
It's quick and it's efficient. But goodness me, is it scary? It's like free money. It's like dabbing for cash.
Yeah. But then so is using your thumbprint to buy things.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Where? How?
Amazon. Set
What
up
do
an
you mean?
You just set up an account and it's just like, yeah, I like that, swipe.
No.
And you get it the next day. It's ridiculous.
Can you expand?
We know
I didn't
before-
realise we'd come that far.
Yeah. If you go onto some, major websites now and you want to buy things, before you'd have to go in through, you put your card details
Yeah.
in and do this.
Oh, out the back.
Oh, red, white.
Jack Keenan. Little hit just comes unstuck there.
So Finn now in a bit of trouble. If that's better than a 2.3, 5.5 minutes. Yeah, it's so easy to spend money now. That's what I was trying to say. How much cash you got in your wallet right now?
I'd rather not say.
What, for safety reasons? Because people
Yeah.
know you got to travel back to Perranporth. They
Yeah.
might hijack you.
Look, dude, when you're carrying, you're carrying. It's, I
But
don't really
you
want to
just
go
got
into
a bag,
details,
just got
but
a knot.
well, I was looking at buying a place here, and I figured
Cash is the best way to buy it.
Do you know what? I figured if I go in, and you're just more likely to get a better deal, I find, with estate agents, selling houses, but not really. Yeah, Paul Barrington, still, I hear he's still in rehab following a most disturbing incident in Wales. He's still having counselling.
Like myself, he's mentally scarred. And
Out the
I'll-
back, Luke Dillon.
I'll never
Thank
get over it.
goodness, one turn and another turn.
Oy.
He got projected out that. That looked like a small version of Andrew Cotton's.
broken back
launch.
and there's it.
But
Yeah. Just going back to Paul Barrington, what he's referring to, there's going to be a video coming out in the next few weeks of a thing we had in Wales called the Commentators Cup.
are we allowed to? Oh, on the inside we've got Jack Keenan
Is that
again.
Jack's keeping busy.
He is. He's coming to the inside. There's a little section here. Connects
Oh.
with it. And just comes
Mm.
unstuck. Are we allowed to say the result of the Commentators
I
Cup?
don't think I think it's kind of nah. But let me just tell Barrington that what we saw in real life is 10 times worse on video. That's all I'm going to say, mate.
So
I'll message you later.
So what happened is the commentators had a competition amongst themselves. So you had yourself, 11-time British champion. You had Paul Barrington,
Yep.
really good surfer from North Devon.
Yep, you had Nick Williams,
Nick Williams, old man.
old toothless man,
You had
and Sam Smart, who we had up in this
Sam
up here
Smart.
earlier on.
professional athlete
Yeah.
and also really good surfer.
It kind of gave us an idea of what it was like to compete on that wave. Because
So this was at the Wave Garden,
yeah, up
Snowdonia.
at Snowdonia, the Snowdonia Surf Challenge, and it kind of opened our eyes to what's possible on the wave and just how
Yeah.
easy or hard it is. And so we had exactly the same conditions as them: 3 practice waves away from the judges, 3 scoring waves towards the judges.
I mean, you are lithe and quick, and I would imagine it's a wave that's really well suited to your style of surfing.
Well, yes and no. It's got a very small sweet spot. So people who surfed it particularly well, Ruben obviously, Luke, Marsley Hargraves, who took out the win, surfed it really well. But it's a bit of a mind doer, because you're sat next to an obstacle and your natural reaction
The
is
fence.
to surf away from it. If you're surfing a harbour wall or a pier, you normally
go away.
Exactly. But this thing you don't. You surf at
Into it.
Yeah. So once you get past that, it's kind of good fun.
Oh, someone having a look
There
here.
you go.
Luke Dillon thinks, do you know what?
I'll
I'll have a
this.
little pop at this. Oh, no.
That did look like it's going to be a little bit of a left. Maybe scowled at Finn there and just to say I might want this wave. Under 2.5 minutes then. Heat number 7, round number 1. Luke Dillon, currently number 5 in the rankings. He can only move up because we haven't got Patrick Landon Dark, who is ranked number 4. So Luke's going to go at least up a place.
And then in the lead, we've got
We got above him Patrick Landendark is 4th, Marsley Hargraves is 3rd, Jay Quinn 2nd, and Ruben Ash currently holding down 1st place on the rankings for this year. And
so
you
it's-
said, I mean, you get $5,000 for winning the tour. You get $1,000 for winning this. So this could be a very lucrative weekend for one of our 3 surfers, maybe 2 surfers.
Yeah, absolutely.
$6,000. I don't think I ever won that in a single year, let alone one event.
Oh,
Here we go.
Luke Dillon, having a look.
Little fade on the takeoff, little blur from the cameraman.
You were asking me about how much money I've got about my purse, and it's realistically it's about 25 pence. But there was one time many moons ago that I won an event in Barbados at Sioux Falls, and it was a relatively big event, and it was like $5 or $6,000, and it was proper money. And in Barbados, there's a big wealth divide. There's the super rich, like Simon Cowell and people like that.
Yep.
And then there's also people who don't, you know. And then, but everyone turned out. This thing was a huge party, and I was presented with my winnings in cash.
Yeah.
In this packed kind of, you can imagine a sort of carnival atmosphere, and being a slightly innocent, scared young surf rat, I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh god, I've got my board shorts and a rash vest, and
That's it.
and $5,000 in
Yeah.
cash in my pocket. A couple of locals insisted I bought them a bottle of rum, which I duly
Which is fair enough.
I absolutely obliged. It was
That's,
my pleasure.
that's winning tax. That's
It was,
that's a
yeah,
given.
that's totally cool.
I won $1,000 at Silver Sands,
Oh, man.
and the event was best 3 waves, 10 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
That is going.
That was
some.
hard work, but luckily it was like chest high, kind of just like reforms. If anyone's ever been to Silver Sands, it's more of a windsurfing, kite surfing area. So anyway, back to the heat.
That is it. So Luke Dillon comfortably through into the quarterfinals, and joining him in the quarterfinals will be
Jack.
Jack Keenan. Yeah, so Finn not really having the best heat. And this is actually a heavy heat. Josh Ash, Tom Butler, and Christian Hammond, who made the final of the under 18s.
We
So
got Joss Ash, 2nd place last weekend up in Scotland, and Tom Butler, former champion here at the Night Surf, winning in 2014.
So not that long ago, and not afraid of a big wave or two.
No.
In the daylight, there is no way on earth Tom would not be way out the back waiting for the big bombs
Yeah.
to do some of his big, smooth, open-face carves. However, you can only go as far as the light reaches.
You can
right?
only surf what you can see. Yeah.
Surf what you see.
There you see. Yep, there's a t-shirt for you. And Luke just belly flopping just to finish.
So let's see if we can pick up our surfers who are in the water right now. Josh Ash, Tom Butler, and Christian Hammond.
Another 3-man heat. Of course, when we go into the quarterfinals, it will be 4-man, so
It
things
will
will
be
pick up as far as hopefully wave
action.
catching. Yeah. There was red on your screen, just disappearing over that wave. So Josh Ash, older brother to Ruben Ash.
Achingly handsome.
Oh, yeah. Ranked 6th on the tour at the moment.
So he could move up as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Especially with that second place finish.
And you know what? Every contest he's been in, he's had a really strong run, and he's just kind of fell short in the final. Last week, he was winning up in Scotland up until like the 5-minute mark, and then Ruben caught a wave to go ahead. So it was an Ash 1 and 2.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? You're in the final with your brother, and you get 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Can't really ask for much better than that, can you?
Maybe he could have maybe even won. Ruben 2. That's the only way that could have improved for Joss.
Yeah. But yeah, Joss is. You see him. I see him in random places. You know, you go into Sainsbury's or something like that, and suddenly you see him staring back at you from a 15-foot advertising.
Airports is where I see him mostly, like for
Usually dressed in tweed.
yeah, or wearing sunglasses or something, you know, Ray-Bans or whatever.
Blue Steel.
Yeah, whatever modelling contract he was working on that time. So, and I expect
Here we
Ash
go.
family watching as well, Pete. So
Here's
welcome,
Tommy
Pete,
Butts.
if you're watching us. Tommy Butts.
A couple of slashes on the open face, trying to get a connection to the inside. Oh, is he going to make it? He's working it hard.
A bit.
He's very close. He
He's
makes
got
it. That was really well done to get that connection.
Tom deceivingly tall. He's about 6'2".
It looks like he's riding an Almeric there.
No.
Or is it a 4th?
Yes.
Of course it is.
Of course, I shaped him that thing.
Did you?
Of course I did. Yeah.
What's under his feet, Lee?
I think it's a not a mad fresh. I think it's an ET.
What does that
or
mean?
An ET is an Ellie Turner model, because we sponsor Ellie Turner as well.
Right, listen.
Okay.
Why don't we see Ellie at any of these UK competitions?
You tell me, mate. I just shape boards.
I would say that she is trying to make it on the international stage.
She's been doing a few QSs. She does really well. Not even sure she's in the country at the moment. I have to check out her Instagram feed.
So I think Ellie Turner is somebody who might have disappeared off our radar. Like, people in the know she's an incredible surfing talent, and she's kind of got her head down, and I think she's working really hard abroad to crack the world scene. So I think the UK Pro Surf Tour is a fantastic springboard and a fantastic opportunity for young surfers in the UK. And even on a world level, you've got the likes of Jay Quinn, who in actual fact was one of the best in the world, and it's great that he's part of this tour. You've got the likes of Ruben Ash, Luke Dillon, who do compete on a world level. But I think, you know, it is important to spread your wings and get out there. And I think Ellie Turner's doing really well to really go out there and put herself out there and try to compete with the best in the world.
I mean, a couple of years ago in the Azores, she finished second to Caroline Marks.
Wow.
Who's on the CT now.
Yeah.
Who was 15 at the time, and just came on to the World Professional Tour. And I saw her surfing then, and she surfed really well, and I thought there's no way she's going to make that gap in such a short year. I was so wrong. And Ellie came second to her. So, you know, the standard is there for Ellie. It's down to the mental approach. You know, her skills are there and honed. It's just that tenacity of wanting to do it week in and week out.
But how much do you think coaching plays into it, or how much do you think the right advice at the right time plays into it as well? Because it seems like Caroline is a remarkable talent.
She's incredibly motivated.
Okay. So Tom Bunter, that first wave was a 6, which came in high.
Judges like it. Maybe we missed the first turn and caught him up, you know, after that opening manoeuvre. As
Joss Ash with a 2.5 just to be in the mix.
And Christian just getting sandwiched there from two peaks coming together.
And like we said, these conditions about as challenging as it gets for a night surf event. Ideally, you'd have it 2-3 feet, nice and clean, close to shore.
Well, which is what you kind of get when this was forecast to be run in June. But obviously, June was incredibly hot and stupidly flat.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like the only opening for a postponement, and this was always going to be the problem. You know, October in the UK, it can be like this.
June was incredible. Do you know, we it was a crazy weather for June. It was so hot, so dry.
Madness.
We I might tell you about it tomorrow, but I'm involved in a I don't think I'll go into it.
Oh, okay.
No, we use fresh ingredients, and here we go.
Right.
Here we
Come
go.
on, Christian.
Christian Hammond.
He's wearing a hood. Sam was talking about how hot he got in his heat, and it looks to me like that a built-in hood. And I don't think they do 3mm wetsuits with built-in hoods. That's at least a 4mm. He's going to be
Toasty.
cooking, and he's wearing boots.
But he did have a heat earlier, so maybe he's just trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't even take it off.
But you know what it's like though. Sometimes the air temperature's cold, but the sea temperature still stays around that 15 degrees. So the air temperature now outside might be 8 degrees. For all we know, it's nice and warm in here.
Yeah,
But when you hit the water,
it's hot.
yeah.
But also the paddle. Here we go.
Joss Ash.
Out the back, Joss Ash. Other left.
Yep, other left.
Follow him.
There we go.
We just got the end of that wave.
Joss will work to us.
It didn't look like a crazy good wave, but it'll be another score.
2.5. Yeah. I don't think he's going to challenge for the lead. But he just needs to make it first or second moving through. And again, this is the last heat of the day. We're going to finish on the open round number 1. And an open tomorrow with 8:45 event call. So Dave Reed, Mike Durkin, the head judge, will get together and see if conditions are calmer enough to get the under-12 boys and under-14 boys in. We haven't seen them today.
So the running order, real quick, pay attention, it's going to go quick. Under-12 boys, round 1. Under-14 boys, under-12 boys, semi-final. Under-14 boys, round 2. Under-14 boys, semi-final. Lots of under-boys heats there. And then under-16 semi-finals. Then we have the low tide. So we are looking to start, like Lee was saying, around about 9 o'clock. So this is a full day event. So even though it's called the night surf, we are still planning to run all day long, starting a little bit earlier than predicted, just to catch up on some of the heats that we couldn't run today because of the conditions. So we'll be looking to start around about 9 o'clock. So under 12 boys, under 14 boys, under 12 boys, under 14 boys, under 14 boys. They're going to have a lot of surfing back to back, aren't they? And there's a few of the kids that double up in these heats as well as we have. Joss has got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be enough to move Christian up into second place.
Well, Joss has got 3.43 for that last wave and a 2.5, so he's created a bit of distance between
he
himself
needs a
and Christian.
4 something. Christian needs a 4 something. Say a 4.5. Maybe
It might
even
be
more
a
than a
push.
4.5.
I think he might be on a
Maybe
3
more than a
something there.
4.5.
But yeah, so then some of these under 12s also double up in the 14s and 16s. And then we have a low tide, a really low tide, a 0.9 meter low tide at 1:45 tomorrow.
Red out the back.
Here we go, having a look.
Wave dying out through that midsection.
Is he
He's going
gonna
to
stay
stick with
with
it.
it?
Yeah, he's going to stick with it though. Little check turn there.
And this is where the light kicks in. Nice timing. And that was
He needed that though. After Christian's last wave.
Do you know what? That turn and this one, reminiscent of his surfing in Thurso. Not super spectacular,
No,
not
solid.
the most
Yeah.
not the most dynamic, but to quote North Shore, the right turns in the right place
Yeah.
with flow, with speed.
Yeah, he's a very calculated surfer, and I'm surprised he's never won. He never won a British Open title.
Has he not?
No,
Has he won an
he's won the
English?
seniors. He's won the seniors, I believe. At least the seniors in the English.
Do you know what? I'm going to say I'm not surprised if he hasn't won. I thought he'd won something, but I'm not surprised. Partly because when you get to a final, I think you can get to a lot of finals by playing it safe.
Yeah,
But once you get to a final, you are in the water with the best surfers, more or less. You know, unless something weird happens along the way,
Yeah.
you tend to have 2 or 3 of the best surfers in the country, and all of them are trying to step up, and somebody will nail it.
Yeah.
I think Josh sometimes has to let himself go a little bit more, push a bit harder once he gets that final. Although in Thursday we got second.
yeah.
But had he pushed a bit harder, there's an argument to say he might have won it.
It came down to backup waves in Thurso because for the finals the swell frequency was a lot less. It was a dying swell, so he was just unlucky. He surfed really well. He gets a 4.13 though, so he moves up into first place. Tom now drops down to second place.
Hey, but look at that,
And-
Christian Hammond,
Yeah.
3.83.
Was that his score? 3.83.
So now he only needs a 2.2 to move up. As long as Tom doesn't get another wave, there's 10 minutes left, so there's plenty of time. Hey, but going back to tomorrow, so low tide around about 2 o'clock. Then we'll have the under 12 girls final, so we move into the finals. After the low tide, on the push, it'll all be finals. So from about 2 o'clock, we'll be looking at finals, which will be the under 12 girls, under 12 boys, under 14 girls, under 14 boys, and then the season surf under 16 girls final. Then we get into the under 16 boys final, and about 4:30 we'll start to join you. We'll reconvene with a live commentary. Here we go, having a look in the yellow. No, decides not to go. Anyone there? Having
Busty's
another
picked up
look?
a 1 as a backup wave, so that's going to make things more difficult for Christian.
And
Still 10 minutes to go though.
and then so about 4:30 we go into the open round 2. So there'll be still plenty of daylight. Then we have the women's semi-finals, and then the semi-finals of the men's, and then as it gets dark we'll go into the girls under 18s, the boys under 18s, and just after the high tide, nearing 8 o'clock, we'll have the women's final and the men's final round about 8 o'clock,
There's 10 finals. We've got 10 different categories.
which
Is a
as
lot.
an event organizer,
A
it is
lot of surfing.
full on. So look at that, in the darkness, in the gloom,
Tom Butler.
working hard to pick out.
He's waiting for that bomb set to come through. Like I say, a big wave surfer. He spends a lot of time this time of year, especially in Ireland, floating between Ireland and Portugal. Did he get an invite into the big wave tour? I think it was 2 years ago. Had a nasty wipeout, almost lost an ear, almost had his ear ripped off, broke some ribs, collapsed lung. So this comes with a price, this big wave surfing. Now you're talking about Andrew Cotton.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke his back, falling off, bouncing basically in
It's-
front of a wave.
I mean, and you know what? I spent a couple of years doing it and putting together a project to go and find some of the biggest waves in Europe, and we had a dig. But something that became very clear to me was that some people genuinely love it. So I did it because it was part of sponsorship and I wanted to do it, and it was exciting, and the waves were big, and it's scary, and it's challenging, and it's all those things. But when you start moving in those circles, when you start moving with the best big wave surfers in the world, what is absolutely evident is that they love it. They need it, they want it. They're not doing it for money, they're not doing it for glory, they're not doing it for any other reason than to do it.
But there is a kind of person, and I saw a documentary with Danny McCaskill, the mountain biker.
Yeah.
And
The Long Way Home, or the
yeah, I can't remember what it was. He was basically just had back surgery. He broke his back, so he's had back surgery, and he started exploring other sports that were dangerous. And he got on the back of a motorbike with
wow.
Guy Martin,
Yeah.
and he did slacklining a mile off the
here we
ground.
go, having a look at yellow.
You
You need to score, you need a nice wave now.
And there's some people that don't have the fear factor. They haven't
Oh, come
got
on.
that. It doesn't kind of register. The danger doesn't register. He wanted to go.
They don't
slack.
have the self-preservation gene.
Yes. And I think for big wave surfers, you need a bit of that. But also you need to train damn hard. Like ridiculously hard. Harder than you would just to compete in an event like this.
But I think the best big wave surfers they've got a calculated recklessness. So a recklessness in the sense that they push themselves over the ledge when most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
But calculated that they're not wild and ridiculous.
No.
They don't want to die.
No,
No one's got
it's
death
a calculated
wish.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're also very calm under pressure. You know, I saw a training video of Andrew Cotton before he broke his back, where he's in the pool, face down for 3 minutes, holding his breath. Then he does a length underwater before he comes up for a breath. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's horrible.
That's like 4.5 minutes of
Really?
not breathing. 3 minutes holding your breath, and then
He's got to be
exerting.
careful with that. Is that not going to start knocking out some of his brain cells?
This is
You know?
This is Cotty we're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I've got some-
they say that the deep sea dive, or the people that the free divers.
Yeah.
You have to push past your body's reaction to
is
say.
this someone having a look?
You have to push past your natural reaction of
Yeah.
your body going.
Yeah.
Holding our breath is killing us.
Yeah.
We need to breathe.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the panic breath.
You get those.
Yeah. And you can push. You can
convulsions.
push past that. The same way sword swallowers get past the gag reflex, just by constantly doing it, because it's just a muscle reaction.
So you've got to override your body's natural reflexes.
Yeah, it's a muscle. You can train every muscle in your body, you know, that you can need to.
Can you?
Yeah, of course you can. They're muscles. They react to stiff. You see these people that draw with their toes and stuff like that, and people without arms just live a normal life, drive cars, and you're using their feet like hands.
Yeah. Still frightening.
It is very frightening.
So at the moment, we've got Christian Hammond. He's the one we're looking at the moment. So Tom Butler in a reasonably good position because he's got a
Yeah.
6. But we saw before these last 5 minutes disappear incredibly quickly. So real challenge to find waves out there.
Well, there's definitely been a lot of waves caught now the tide's come in.
People have
throughout
moved
these.
in.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
feels like, you know, oh, here we
Here we
go,
go.
Tom Butler. If he nails this,
Oh.
oh dear.
Going to be late to the party. Not enough speed.
Will that be better than his 1? We didn't see what he did before that.
Yeah, maybe he might get a 1.5, maybe a 1.7.
Is he okay? Can we stay on him?
I'm pretty sure he's okay. There's Red, current heat leader, Josh Ash.
Who would you rather be right now with just under 5 minutes to go? Josh Ash with a 4 and a 3, or Tom with a 6 and a 1?
Well, what does Tom needs a 1.56 to take the lead.
He might do it with that.
Yeah, he might do it. So I'd rather be Tom. Because stand up, make a bottom turn, and you're back in the lead. And then Josh is kind of, you know, if Christian gets a 4, Josh could be in trouble. If this changes as I think it might. So my prediction is Tom. Oh, he didn't. Tom got a 1.1, so he doesn't move into first place. So that doesn't change things at the moment.
So Christian doesn't need much.
Not at all. He's still within striking
Got a
distance.
paddle. No, that was Josh having a look. Decides not to go.
If Christian gets a 4,
He goes into the lead.
he goes into the lead.
And Josh becomes very exposed.
Yes, because Tom's got a 6 and only needs a 2 or a 1.6. So this is like a game within a game. It's just like a blind game of
But-
chess. Just trying to see someone.
Is that a sport?
There's red. Look, there's red. There
that
was
must
some
be a sport. Of course it is. You feel what your chess piece is. And maybe with an earpiece, someone.
an audio. Well,
Yeah.
they do. You know, king to knight 7 and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
And I guess if you're that level of chess, you remember it anyway. You know
Yeah.
where you've played your last 20 moves. And you know where your pieces are.
I saw, I think it was Darren Brown take on 6 chess champions. And what he basically did, he started with the first guy, and then when he went to the second guy, he used the first guy's move on the second guy. And he did that. So they were basically all playing each other, and he was just moving chess pieces.
Did that work? Did you
Yeah,
win?
yeah. I think he won all but 1. So he won 5 out of 6. It was very clever how he did it. He's a very clever man. I actually saw him live. If you ever get a chance.
Good. Was it?
Absolutely mind blowing. I mean, I like magic. I like stuff like that. I'm very into you know, that sort of stuff. But incredibly intelligent. Really good fun.
Is there real magic or is it always tricks?
Well, it's tricks. Of course, it's tricks.
No real magic.
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh.
That didn't mean to burst your bubble. But
Man. But it isn't
kind
saying
of
this-
new though. Right?
Yeah, but like, with someone like what's his name, the American guy?
David Blaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he trains his body and does crazy stuff, or do you think he
Yes.
cheats, or does
No.
he genuinely do crazy stuff?
I seen him put a skewer through his hand, and what he did is he started putting a skewer through his hand, and the skin closed around it, so there was a passage through his skin.
Okay.
Did you ever see the thing where he regurgitated up a frog?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was done back in the 80s. I remember the Generation game and stuff like that, where a guy could do that. He could swallow a pound, and then
I could
Give you change. It was
I could
brilliant.
swallow a pound for you and produce it about 8 hours
Yeah.
later if you wanted to. It might not.
no,
I might
you-
not regurgitate
you
it.
keep it. You can keep
Yeah,
it.
you sure?
You've earned that one, yeah.
Well, actually, I think I've got
Yeah.
one here. That,
Here's one I did earlier.
in fact, this Finke here. So here we go. We've
Red,
got
that was
Josh Ash
Joss.
with a 4.13 and a 3.43.
He's just
We've
on
got-
the edge of the light, isn't he? That's the thing.
We've got Tom Butler. We've down the last minute and a half. We've got Tom Butler with a 6 and a 1.10. And then here we go. Let's see if we can pick anyone up. Oh,
There we
up
go.
and riding. So we didn't see the start of this wave.
Basically needs a 4. Well, he needs a 3-4-7 to jump into the lead. That body language looked like it wasn't a 3-4-7.
Yeah.
The way he kicked his board out at the end there.
It might suggest he didn't get it,
Yeah.
but with a minute to go. But we kind of need to make sure that he doesn't get threatened. We'd like to see Tom get a wave here. But Christian Hammond, this is challenging. Are you finding yourself looking with the camera, sort of
Yeah.
squinting at the
I'm
screen?
literally just looking for a dark thing that shouldn't be out there with all this whiteness, and that's going to be red, because that seems to be the worst colour to try and see.
I guess it absorbs the colour more, doesn't it? It doesn't reflect.
It doesn't
the colour as
reflect it,
much.
yeah.
Down to half a minute now.
Nothing at the moment. Under 30 seconds.
So the conditions are scheduled. Well, we'll get into that in a second. But last wave was that a 1.63?
Yeah, he had a. Yes, that was his last wave, so he's still coming a bit shy. And he's out.
He looks a bit
He's
disappointed
done.
with that.
And it looks like he's on a Darchie there, Steve Darch. Shaping that board. He must be boiling.
And that is the end of the heat. All
So-
right, so well, here we go after the heat. So this won't count, but Tom Butler just finishing off the heat there. It looks like he did just about enough to get through.
He doesn't think so with a kick of that board.
So we'd love to look you in the eye and say goodbye, but we've just got a little glitch with our camera, so we're gonna wrap this up,
I think we've broken it.
and we'll just with our beautiful visages. So we'll have a little roundup of this heat. So this was Tom Butler's best wave.
6.0 was the best
yeah,
wave of
I
the
think
heat,
he
wasn't
did a
it?
big turn out the back
He
and
must
then worked
have.
it through. But very difficult. It's challenging on all
Oh,
fronts,
he did
isn't
get
it?
a reform, didn't he? He got a reform and went forehand. Yep. He worked really hard for that reform, to be fair.
He did really well to connect it. Little slash there, another little float.
And he needed it. Because
He
his, back,
did, he
his
needed
backup
every-
wave was a 1.1.
Yeah, absolutely. So it goes to show it's dangerous out there. So this wasn't bad. If he'd had another wave like this,
Yep.
it would have been game over for Tom. So
That's a 3.8, if I remember rightly. Very close between all three surfers. Josh Ash
Quiet but effective.
Steady surf heat. That was a nice snap.
That was, yeah.
Probably the best maneuver of the heat. And he did get a little bonus finish, and this I think it's a 4.1.
And he's got his Dayglow shin pad.
Yeah. This was the 1.1, which was enough to keep him in second place, though.
That was close.
And then the body language on this kick out for Christian suggested that he knew it wasn't enough. Frustration kick out there.
So there he is, a happy Tom Butler, dodging bullets, I would say. So that man, one of the bravest in the UK, he surfs 40-foot waves.
And he sees wearing earplugs, so maybe he couldn't hear what was going on. A lot of surfers suffering with surfer's ear. Do you ever have surfer's ear?
Do you know what? I don't.
Nah.
Well, my ear. Do you know what? I had my ears checked out, and they said it was 98% closed on one side and
Right.
like 92 on the other side. But listen, I think we should wrap this up. It's been a really what I love about first day of an event is it starts to set the scene. So we saw Milesly Hargreaves opening up really strong. We saw the Fight Club, Sam Smart, Nick Tisco, going head to head and both getting through their heat. Ruben Ash looking solid and loose. We saw, well, we didn't see Jay Quinn.
Jay, but he's through.
He progressed.
Yeah.
So then we've got it set up for the quarterfinals. We've got Reece Barfield going through, Luke Dillon going through, and now Josh Ash.
It's kind of going to script at the moment. All the top seeds are through into the next into the quarterfinals.
And so the whole thing's going to play out very, very interesting. Ruben Ash, Jay Quinn, Milesly Hargreaves, and Luke Dillon, Josh Ash, Sam Smart, all going through. So the big players are playing.
Yep. And at the moment, it seems like it's going to be a two-horse race between Ruben and Jay Quinn. Basically, the scenario as it stands, Jay has to win, and Ruben has to finish fourth or worse. Jay will be crowned champion. If Jay doesn't finish above Ruben, Ruben's going to be our champion for 2018.
With these conditions under the floodlights, anything can happen. Do join us tomorrow. There will be a live webcast running through most of the day, and we will just pick up the beach commentary, and then around about 4 o'clock we will come back into the hot seats and join us for the men's, women's, under 18 girls and boys finals.
10 finals tomorrow.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a good day.
And there's Tyler. These people that have no idea about positioning of camera. It's his camera, and he still walks in front of it. Come on, Tyler.
Lee, are you going to be here tomorrow?
I shall be here a little bit later than today. I was so keen today. I drank about 4 coffees before we went live.
Ready for
so
action.
I was buzzing. But yeah, I'm mad for it tomorrow. Finals day. It's going to end in fireworks presentation. We're going to be crowning 10 champions, which is ridiculous. We're going to be giving away $5,000 to our open winner as well. So if you're around tomorrow, come down to the beach. If you're not, join us live online. From Sam and myself, we'll see you all tomorrow, and have a good evening.